Good morning and welcome to Sunday Breakfast right here on Channel 1 TV. My name is Eno Safwa. And as usual, we do this every Sunday with you where we get to show you what we have, give you some entertainment, some music, you know, a bit of this, a bit of that, just for your Sunday relaxation, just before you either go to church or, you know, you stick and stay with us throughout the show. We'd like to say a very big thank you to you for showing up for the Agri Fair. Without you, it wouldn't have been possible. We are truly, truly grateful that you decided to join us for the Maiden Agri Fair at the Efwa Sutherland Park, where farmers brought their fresh farm produce right to your table. And I hope that you enjoyed yourself. You were able to meet people like myself or Bernard or every other presenter here, or every other person who works here at Channel 1 TV. We're truly grateful that you came to the Maiden Agri Fair, and we hope that we delivered as we promised. When we said that we're giving you farm gate prices, I hope that we delivered as we promised and that you truly, truly enjoyed yourself at the Maiden Agri Fair. From the chinchinga, from the vibes on the dance floor, from everything that you were able to taste or witness, the kebab, tilapia, and all those things, the aubergines, the everything. We are truly grateful that you decided to come to the Agri Fair and at least experience it. And if you didn't even come to shop and you came for the vibes and the chinchinga, we're grateful to you as well. All those who joined us on the dance floor with the chinchin band, wow, what an experience, right? Those boys are amazing to have sung for 3-4 hours plus and keep the vibes alive. We're truly, truly grateful that you decided to join us. Thank you so much. You made it possible. You made our Maiden Agri Fair possible, and we will ensure that, you know, we do much more going forward. Don't worry, we have more packages, you know, in the following months, and we know that you'll definitely join us. Let's delve into our our news portal, shall we? Let me get them opened so that we can start. Let's start with City Newsroom. Some of the stories you'll find on that portal. When network decides to fail you, you can always rely on your phone, can't you? All right, citynewsroom.com. Some of the stories you'll find on the portal. Build self-reliance through unity and trade, Asantehene to African leaders. And you know the Asantehene has been visited by the Mswatini king, and they have been building strong ties together. So that's one of the stories on citynewsroom.com. Build self-reliance through unity and trade, Asantehene to African leaders. Other stories you'll find on citynewsroom.com. CJ's fate undecided. Premature conclusions on probe inappropriate. Garu MP says so. Government will empower university councils without interference, Professor Pokuajiman. NDC Engineering calculated removal of CJ EC bosses, Ahiagba alleges. NPP and suspended CJ driven by self-interest. That's according to the Movement for Change. Education Ministry mourns in Kwanta SHS students killed in renewed tribal violence. Other stories you'll find on citynewsroom.com. Education Ministry mourns in Kwanta SHS students killed in renewed tribal violence. Calls for removal of EC boss deputies justify. That's according to Franklin Kujo. Suspended CJ has gone rogue. Hamza Suhini fires Tokonu over her presser. NDC will be remembered as most judicially oppressive regime. That's according to Ahiagba. Tokonu must own her cross, not blame politics. That's according to Suhini. Tokonu's press conference was very unnecessary. That's according to the Imani boss. George Elombi named Afri-Exim Bank president, and a car has been engulfed in flames after crashing into a bar at Westland. Zoomline deploys 200 new trucks to tackle waste management nationwide. And we aren't affiliated with any fraudulent loan scheme. That's a response from the World Vision Ghana.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let me take you to the Ghana News Agency.org.gh. Some big stories here. Cabinet approves Ghana Medical Trust Fund bill. That's a big story here. And they also have, a report on some building collapses that happened in Cape Coast. Some other story here, ADR assessment and counseling underway in Ho. And moving on, Education Minister tax Ghana Library Authority Council to build presidential libraries. Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu's press conference betrayed the Constitution. That's coming from, law lecturer, former Ghana Law School Director, Ansa Ansari, and also Vice President Opoku Agyemang engages female MPs. That was on Friday. Fire incidents. Interior Minister condemns prank calls, urges public education. Suspended CJ acted in clear breach of the 1992 Constitution. That's coming from one of the petitioners, against her, Mr. Daniel Ofori. Moving on, in Keta, NADMO cautions residents to close the sea to evacuate in order to avoid high tidal wave destruction. And like you mentioned, Afri-Exim Bank have a new CEO, and he's downplayed the Fitch downgrade. And finally, here is a report or like an editorial. Bank of Ghana staff review, majority leader clarifies terminations.
I'm sorry, my internet is messing up, so if you have other portals,
let me take you to graphic.com.gh. GES closes in Quanta SHS after renewed ethnic conflict. Also, the defense minister is in the news as he's been providing an important update to incoming officers. And there's a beautiful, photo story on the Asantehene and the Eswatini, envoy, as cultures converge, at the Mensha Palace. And that report is on graphic.com.gh. Ablakwa has been speaking, as he say, former ambassador signed endless contract with embassy. And this is in particular, in reference to the U.S., the Ghana mission in Washington, where he alleged that some unscrupulous persons, some Mr. Kwating, was engaged allegedly in some fraudulent activities. And according to the Foreign Affairs Minister, the former ambassador signed a sort of a perpetual contract with the IT officer, Mr. Kwating. Do you have Channel One News?
Yes, I have channel1news.com. The one is the digits one. Some of the stories you'll find on that platform. COVID-19 under control. Stop the panic, Garu MP tells Minority. Other stories you'll find. Togo protests trigger fear. Disrupt economic activity in Aflao. NDC Suhini accuses suspended Chief Justice of undermining Constitution. CJ's ordeal exposes deep-seated disrespect in Ghana's courts, that's according to Franklin Kujo. CJ's impeachment proceedings is about principle, not politics. That's movement for change. Other stories you'll find. CJ Tokonu's removal process a charade, that's according to Ahiabwa. Tokonu's removal petitions baseless and dangerous, Ahiabwa says so. And still on the CJ, her removal process fundamentally flawed, Bafo says so. Yandi Water Project set for completion in 2026. That's according to the MP. NLC orders NIA staff to call off strike. In Quanta, SHS temporarily shut down as tribal clashes claim students' lives. And Minority slams CJ removal process as lacking transparency and integrity. Leverage your positions to uplift others, Professor Opoku Agyemang urges Women Caucus. Iran holds state funeral for military leaders killed in Israel conflict. Vehicle catches fire after crashing into bar at Westland. Family appeals to police to help retrieve body of drowned 12-year-old. Iranian foreign minister admits serious damage to nuclear sites. AMA court secures first conviction, fines food vendor 360 Ghana cities for unsafe practices. And Japan executes Twitter killer who murdered and dismembered 9 people. And in the northern region, Mary Tagba confirmed Tatale DCE vows action against drug abuse. Government declares July 4 a public holiday. Adopt COVID-19 protocols to curb new surge, GHS cautions.
And I think it's a good time to delve into some of the big headlines. Maybe before that, some foreign headline stories. Iran could start enriching uranium for bomb within months, UN clears, UN nuclear chief says. Also here, Senate Republican advanced Trump's big, beautiful bill, but final vote hangs and the balance. In Serbia, there's a police clash with anti-government protesters in Belgrade, and Iran holds state funeral for military leaders killed in Israel conflict. The UK government condemns the Glastonbury chants aired live on BBC. And Venice divided as lavish, Bezos wedding brings glamour and protest. Charlie, I'm being told that if you just attended the wedding, you were given, some package, worth some good amount of dollars. Interesting happenings at the global scene. But I know we can delve into some of the big stories now.
Okay, so I have on channel1news.com, the one is the digit one. COVID-19 under control. Stop the panic, Garu MP tells Minority. A bit of that story reads, Dr. Thomas Anna, Member of Parliament for Garu, has downplayed the minority's calls for the health minister to appear before Parliament over the recent resurgence of COVID-19 cases at the University of Ghana. The minority in Parliament is demanding that the Minister of Health, Abdulrahman Kando, appear before the House to provide a comprehensive briefing on the resurgence of COVID-19 cases at the University of Ghana. According to the minority, the situation is spiraling out of control, fueling fear and panic in parts of the country. They insist the minister must be transparent about the current state of affairs and offer clear information to the public. But Dr. Anaba, in an interview on the Channel 1 newsroom on Saturday, June 28, described the demand as exaggerated and unnecessary, inciting the minorities making a storm out of a teacup. He argued that while COVID-19 remains a public health concern, the current situation does not warrant alarm. When COVID came and we didn't understand it, we rushed to do so many things, and whether we did them right or not, at least it saved lives. Now we have a firm grip on COVID, he said. He pointed out that a significant portion of the population has been vaccinated, and the current variants circulating globally are less virulent. They don't cause serious illness in most people. And because of our immunity, the spread is reduced. It's interesting because the students on Legon campus says they just want to prevent them from celebrating their whole weeks. That's why they're saying there's COVID and that there's no COVID.
You do see that really, viral video now posted by Channel 1 TV and CTF.
Yeah, Fauzu interviewed that young man and he says, oh, they're lying. They don't want us to enjoy ourselves. They want to stop us.
Stop enjoyment on campus. That was an interesting perspective. Anyway, let me take you to the Ashanti region, or Sekrum, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, to be precise. Yesterday, a colorful graduation ceremony took place there. The Eswatini king was there. The Otumfuo said to himself, who is chancellor for the university, was there. And of course, the vice president of the republic, Professor Nano Pokwajiman, was also there. This is on citynewsroom.com. The big headline story, government will empower university councils without interference. And story by Hafiz Tijani. Excerpts read, Vice President Professor Jainano Pokwajiman has assured that the Mahama-led administration will not interfere unduly in the affairs of public universities, but rather empower their councils and managements to carry out their statutory responsibilities. Speaking at the 58th Special Congregation of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology on Saturday, June 28th, she emphasized the government's commitments to academic freedom and institutional autonomy. She indicated that our government would ensure universities comply with relevant policies, regulations, and standards. Its interventions through the Ministry of Education would be limited strictly to ensuring compliance and not political interference. And that was the address by the Vice President, Professor Nano Pokwajiman, at the KNUST graduation yesterday. And in that same ceremony, we saw Member of Parliament for Shaman and next Nogbe, graduate with a PhD, I think, in supply chain management and logistics. So congratulations to you, Honorable Ernest Nogbe, on successfully, passing out as a PhD in supply chain logistics and supply chain management and logistics. Congratulations. I know.
I understand there are 10, I don't want to say Eswatini, they have a name for people who come from there, but because I can't remember it. Is it M-Swat, whatever.
But there are 10, the viewers understand you.
There are 10 Eswatini students also at King USD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who met with their king.
Oh, wow.
And he encouraged them to continue studying so that when they return, to Eswatini, they can.
I know Kenya has a high Nigerian population in terms of students, but I didn't know Eswatini because it's a really small land.
Yeah, 10.
And they came all the way to Osekrom.
To Osekrom to study. You know, the two kingdoms have relationships, and so it transcends beyond just.
Wow.
And then, it goes into education as well as that. I hope it reflects in other areas because under that post, I saw it, I think, on the Eswatini Twitter. And the kingdom's Twitter, and then X now. But under that post, you could see that nationals from that country were visibly disturbed, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, no, it's fine. What were their concerns?
Their concerns were that if the king were able to develop their country and invest in infrastructure and education, students wouldn't have to necessarily come all the way to Kumasi to study.
Oh, I don't think that's the point.
No, I'm like, there's nothing really wrong.
What was the poverty level there?
Apparently it's very high.
Very high. What's the literacy rates there?
I haven't checked the stats.
If the basic economic, indicators that could provide a stable, sort of, or a decent living, are all missing in the area under his tenure, then fair play. Of course, I'll check the numbers on what it says about, the state of the economy. But I think people travel elsewhere, for higher education, right? We have just the...
So much so that Ghana is in trouble with the U.S.
Exactly. That's exactly the point I was about making, right? And all over the world, Asia, Chinese, the Chinese, they travel a lot for higher education to the U.S. and to other countries. So if students from Eswatini are moving to Ghana to study, I don't think there's a particular problem with that, unless the education infrastructure and systems in the country is so poor that, on their own, they can't churn out high quality graduates. But if that's not the case, I think people have preference for what they study. I mean, course preferences, career path, if they analyze all of those things, they feel like maybe their chances are better offering a particular course at a certain university. So I'm not really sure.
If what I'm seeing here is anything to go by, the Eswatini literacy rate is, for 2022, was 90.75%, a 1.47% increase from 2020, which isn't bad. But then we don't know the population.
Yeah, so the literacy rate is important, but also the economic, are their citizens living a stable life? Do they have a decent standard of living? So much to match the kind of opulence we've seen with the king, right? Of course, some people are on social media. Everybody has an agenda of a sort on social media. I saw people, posting about his affluence, the opulence, the cars he owns, the rich watches he owns, and all of that. You get people doing all of that, right? But is it true that their growth, their inflation numbers, all of those things, what was he saying about the country, right? I think these are the things you should also pay attention to. But other than that, do they have jobs? Do they have stable jobs there? Do they have economic independence? I think these are the answers we should be looking for.
Be fine.
Other than that, I think a lot of the noise really, is not really merited.
It's just citizens being citizens. Anyway, Togo protests trigger fear, disrupt economic activity in Aflao. Some of the stories: residents of Aflao, a Ghanaian border town, say they're
This on citynewsroom.com?
It's on channel1news.com.
Oh, okay.
Residents of Aflao, a Ghanaian border town, say they're feeling the economic and social ripple effects of ongoing anti-government protests in neighboring Togo, where demonstrations over controversial constitutional reforms have rocked the capital, Lomé, for 2 consecutive days. Speaking on Channel 1 Newsroom on Saturday, June 28, Sylvia Esi Awiye, a journalist with Aflao-based Holy FM, said although the Aflao border remains open, fear has gripped many residents, reducing cross-border movement and disrupting livelihoods. Currently, in most of the communities in Lome, there's no network connectivity except for those who use Wi-Fi to access the internet. Currently, some of the military, or the policiers, as they call it, are patrolling some communities along the borders, but there's no protest close to us here in Aflao. The border has not been closed, but it's just that people are afraid to cross. This afternoon, when I was at the border to cross, I saw about 50 cargoes lined up waiting to cross to Togo. The Asigame market is closed, and so business is not going on as usual. The situation in Togo is highly affecting residents in Ghana and Aflao since the economic activities have gone down. She added that although the Togolese police and military are managing the situation, citizens have accused them of siding with the government. The unrest in Togo stems from sweeping constitutional reforms critics say are designed to allow President Faure Gnassingbé to remain in power indefinitely. Gnassingbé, who has ruled since 2005 following the death of his father, was sworn in this May as president of the newly established Council of Ministers, a position without term limits. Opposition figures have described the reforms as a constitutional coup, warning that they threaten democracy and entrench one-family rule. Amnesty International reports that dozens of demonstrators have been arrested in recent weeks as security forces intensify repression amid growing public frustration over rising living costs and political authoritarianism. On Thursday, hundreds of protesters blocked roads in several Lome neighborhoods, erected barricades, set tires on fire, and clashed with security forces. Police responded with tear gas and mass arrest. Residents of Aflao now fear further unrest could worsen the economic toll and destabilize cross-border relations as tensions in Togo continue to escalate. What is it with African leaders and staying in power forever?
Some African leaders.
Some African leaders and staying in power forever.
One family ruling a country since 1967, right? 58 years continuous, right? I think it's atrocious, especially when there's no real value to show for it in terms of the development of the nation, the progress of the nation. I hear people travel to Togo say, oh, they have good roads. Oh, there's some level of order in the city. Yeah. But what's the economic power, right? Are they industrialized enough as a people? You know, you can't be in power for 58 years, one single family, and we've not seen anything. And after almost 20 years in power, coming in May 2005 or February 2005, then you automatically change the constitution, engineer a process to make you a sort of a ceremonial figure or president without any term limits. I think that is atrocious, and it's clearly, you know, breaches every single, you know, provision or dictates of a democratic system. And the fact that, you know, peaceful protesters, we are being told in the media, are being clamped down on. Some of them are being arrested, you know, taken in without recourse to any legal support or their family. I think is wrong. And, you know, ECOWAS as a community, right, interested in the economic welfare of its member states should step in. I think the president should be for Gnassingbé, right? Should be brought in. Like, you know, we shouldn't wait to now appoint another envoy because it becomes some kind of military takeover and the whole Sahel kind of thing starts again. You know, so I think that it's important to keep a close eye on Togo. We need to get them to come to the negotiation. Like, ECOWAS should take a keen interest in the developing issues there and not wait till it escalates and now, you know, but I don't think there's no way this should make sense that one family will rule a country for 58 years and now it's even seeking to further entrench its you know, grip on the country in the manner that we've seen for Gnassingbé do. And I think it's repulsive.
Right, I have some birthdays. Should we do birthdays now before we go for break? Quickly. Okay, so there's a happy 40th birthday to my beautiful wife, Agnes Osomia Osei, our angel in human form. Amma 40 years is an incredible milestone, and the kids and I celebrate the amazing mother and wife you are. You light up our world, and we love you more than words can say. Happy birthday, Amma. Happy birthday. And then happy birthday to Richard Allen Lewis of the British High Commission. Happy birthday to you. Enjoy your day. Right. We're going on a quick break. When we come back, we have more for you. Don't go away.
Hi, friend. Where are we going today?
Just use your imagination.
Go, go, go!
My family is the only thing that matters to me right now.
This is the stuff that you read about.
These guys are the best.
GoTV's ready to take you from your hometown to roaring stadiums and even on international adventures. So let's go together, from home or on the go with GoTV Stream.
Sounds like a great idea.
Woohoo! GoTV. Love it.
Mommy, good morning.
Good morning, my son. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mom. How about you?
I'm fine.
Joe, I just saw your mom doing her usual morning routine. Like, it was just 2 weeks she underwent a major colon surgery.
Bro, see, my mom is doing perfectly fine, and we're all excited about it. It was minimally invasive surgery, and the recovery has been very fast.
Minimally? Hey!
No, wait. What do you mean by that?
So they offered my mom a laparoscopic colon surgery. Laparoscopic colon surgery, which we accepted. It turned out it was equally safe with a very fast recovery time, and the cost involved too was very, very reasonable. She was discharged 3 days after the surgery, and you can see her, she's on her feet again.
3 days?
Just 3 days, bro.
Mean Tuber Hospital, first Ghana colorectal center, aimed to serve a peculiar health need.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood.
Great.
They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is gonna be so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long. On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your life.
You're welcome back. This is Sunday Breakfast right here on Channel 1 TV. So we're talking about a father's role, or the importance of a father's role in someone's life. And joining me to do this is Reverend Bernie Oseidia. We haven't seen him in a while, so it's pretty exciting anytime Reverend shows up. Reverend, you're welcome to the show.
Thank
How
you.
have you been? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but thank you for having me. It's always great to be here.
It's definitely great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
So today's topic, the importance of having a father figure at home. I would like to delve straight into it and say, why is it important? But then let's start with, how do you define a father's role in the house?
Okay, thank you very much. And
or
once
in a
again,
child's life.
Thank you. Once again, a great good day to your cherished viewers. I think that the role of fathers in our society, in our community, in a nation building, is very critical. the role that fathers play at home is even more important. But when it even comes to the life of a child, then it has gone to criticality pro max. Because fathers model something that is not restrictive to what today is being propagated as providers. In fact, the original intent of God for fathers is not to provide. When you look at Genesis,
because that's what we always think. The father's role is just to provide. Oh wow!
I think there's a transition that led to where we are today. When you look at Genesis, God actually planted a garden eastward of Eden and there's a source of a river which split into 4 heads. By the time he was planting man in the garden, God had provided everything. So the foremost assignment of a man was to be a steward, not a provider, because God had already provided for. So the intent of God was to keep it, dress it, and out of its yields, then they can take care of. So when he saw it wasn't good for man to be alone and brought, then the family concept began. Of course, he said, be fruitful and multiply. So the multiplication that leads to reproduction means that then there will be smaller Adams and Eves. And that would lead to now taking care of what the Lord has given to you. Now, when you are present, a lot of things happen. I'll go back to Genesis because I need to be able to make us understand the base or the source of this. The meaning of the word father means source. Abba, source, which means that they are the source of life. I know women like to say that they gave birth and carried.
Carried the child for 9 months.
The source is from the man. No woman can be able to carry if the source do not plant the seed. Now, immediately the seed is planted, the responsibility changes for the woman and the man. Now, you are on your path to become a mother, and the man is on the path to become a father, which means that as a father, you must be the source of everything for the child. So there are mandates of fathers which is not restricted to now providing through your stewardship. Right? Now, immediately you are not there. There are some emotional elements that every child needs in their development. There are some modeling of various things through their character formation, lifestyle, behavioral patterns that they develop. That if the father is not present, certain things will be missing. Look, statistics today is proving that in many households in America, even in Ghana, the level of child delinquencies and challenges in households where there are absentee fathers keeps doubling day in, day out. Because when fathers are present, a lot of stability comes into the home. Mothers are lovely, they are nurturing. But in the events that you will have fathers to step up and stretch the development of a child, a mother would like to cuddle you and speak to you. But life do not treat you like that. I keep telling mothers that they should allow fathers to train their boys because women cannot train boys. Look, the best they can do is become a mamaba. You're soft.
Yeah.
You're all the emotional things.
Yeah.
But by the time you step out there, now I'm only speaking in the generics because of course we know that there are some of our mothers or grandmothers that are very strong.
Yeah, very
they have this masculine, characteristics. But that is because they are masculine. Because if you want to keep to all your femininity and be able to have that kind of, modeling for the child, it becomes difficult. Life is tough. Life is unfair. To boys, it's even worse. So when you think that life will be, giving some hugs to your baby And when they turn 18, they are no more with you. They are out there in school. Things will be going their way. Then they can run to you. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not like that. And you will not always be there. You will not always be there. So the kind of training that fathers bring to the home, the kind of presence, that is why today, mothers will say, oh, they're trying papa, because they understand that there is a role and there's a presence that the father brings to the home. And if you are not there, a lot of things goes southwards.
Specific qualities are we talking about then that a man should possess or a father should possess?
Oh, of course. The element of discipline is very important. How you communicate with your children, how you communicate when you are present, how you communicate when you handle their mother or you relate with their mother is very paramount. Look, children pick a lot, not through what you're saying, but through what you're demonstrating.
Actions.
They pick a lot. And I keep saying that, see, people will hear what you say, but they will end up doing what they see. You may say, don't do this, but they see you doing something, they'll do the same. Yesterday, I saw a video of a mother who walks up to the girl child who was sitting down on a couch with the legs open. And the mother came with a hit her, so you don't sit like that.
Yeah.
Next scene, the mother was on the phone, was in jeans, legs were elsewhere. Then the child also came with a cane to, Mom, you don't sit like that. Right. Of course, she was going to react, but then she remembered. Yeah. I corrected her, and now I'm doing the same, and she's correcting me. All right, so it becomes very important that you are modeling this thing. So the character you need, the discipline. And immediately you know that I'm trying to help you or guide you to be a certain person in this direction. It also becomes something that I need to uphold. So the integrity that I must possess is very important because I'm modeling a kind of a lifestyle, not only for myself, but for my kids to also follow.
What about the emotional and psychological upbringing of a child? Because sometimes your mother, like you rightly said, will say, oh, they're trained papa ba, and there's some fear that is put in the child. So some children grow up fearing their fathers, so they're unable to build that bond. So how is the emotional and psychological upbringing of a child, has importance, and how does the father contribute to that?
So for starters, it is wrong for mothers to schedule discipline at the appearance of the father. Because when it comes to that, you create kakai out of the father. At the end of the day, they will get closer to you because they know that they can get away with murder when they are with you. But the kakai, when it's coming home, everyone is aligned. Even the dog tries to find somewhere and hides because the kakai is coming. And I think that over a very long time, that's become the tradition. Today, a lot of fathers are also taking a cue out of these things to say, no. If I come, you tell me something, I'm going to ask you, so what did you do about it? What are you going to do about it? I think that parents should be able to start having those conversations among themselves, how we want to discipline our children. Discipline must not only be done by one person, because what we are trying to do is to create one person as the disciplinarian, the other one as the lovey-dovey, sweet kissing person. So, and everyone will toe to that. And mothers have done that in a very long time to be able to create a brand for fathers. So at the end of the day, children love their mothers more. And they think that their fathers hate them because they bring structure, they bring discipline into their lives. And those are some of the follows that are not right.
What about socially and academically?
Look.
Like me, for instance, me and mathematics, we don't have a thing. But if I marry someone and he's good at math, maybe he can take over that part. So how do the fathers help in that school?
Statistics shows that any household with no present father figure in the house, the academic levels of those kids drops. Proven statistics. And I'm talking about between, depending on which country, because of culture and so many things, from about 24 to almost 60%. Academic level quality drops in the kids because there is no father there. Look, one day, someone walked into, the house from work around 9. The kids were watching TV, some were on their phones. They were writing an exam the next day. The mom was there, they're having conversation. She said, what are you writing tomorrow? Have you practiced? Have you gone through your notes? Said no. Why? The mom was there. Then suddenly something changed. The reason why fathers do these things are because, look, life is not fair, especially when you have a boy. Look, life is never fair to men. Life is a bitter pill to men. So when you have a boy in the house, the reason why the man understands what they face when they get out there. So the levels of aggression and awareness they bring to the life of a child that, look, education will give you another platform for you to be able to manifest whatever is in you. You can be gifted in so many areas, but there are some levels education, especially in our system, will hinder you. Today, I have met people that are so gifted and smart, but they can't get access to scholarships. They cannot be able to further anything by virtue of the fact that there are levels of education that they should have to qualify for something. They cannot. So when fathers are present, they bring those sense of urgencies that many times some of our mothers do not. And please, once again, don't get me wrong. There are mothers who have those characteristics that the men possess that many times can be able to stand up, and bring that into the home. But you are talking about one in maybe 100 or 500,000. All right. So, it helps to improve the academic, element of the children and their social construct. Look, I have seen today a lot of people are saying that they will never allow their sons to marry girls whose fathers were not present. Why? It's simple. Look, any girl who is not trained by a man doesn't understand how to relate with a man. I say it again. It may sound controversial.
I was about to, but yeah, go ahead, Reverend.
Any girl
right,
who was not trained by a man will give you headache in marriage.
How? Why?
They've never related to what it means to have a father at home.
Right.
Never. At that point, you take them home. Look, not all mothers, but let me put it this way. The way we have propagated and promoted the element of feminism, feminists, strength, independence, and how we have used some of this curriculum to develop our children. When there is a man present, a lot of those languages are not present. What makes the difference is, the casa are different. An independent woman does not report to anyone. They can say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and you cannot fault them. That's their lifestyle. The problem comes when you are training your daughter to be the same and wants to get married. Today, a lot of men are waking up. They are not ready to take women into their homes who may not give them that level of respect that this is my husband. This is, and you understand what the meaning of the word husband means? Husband means master. From the original translation, husband means master. Today, a lot of women will not make it up. So when you find a girl who is trained by a father, they've been taught, they've been shouted on, they've been trying to, put within their ranks, understand what it means to, look, I was driving and I think I was trying to show my son how, the automatic changes. My wife and daughter was behind and I was speeding a bit, but I was trying to teach just in 3 gears. And then my wife was like, and the daughter started, that I stopped the car. I said, no, correct it immediately, because my daughter would not speak to a man in my presence like that. Then immediately I saw realignment.
Yeah.
When a father is absent, you won't find these things. It's worse if that father is not the father the woman has introduced as the father to be. So single parents who bring men into their homes, but the men do not have authority over their children. And I even tell men, say, marrying a single mother it's not advisable.
I was about to go there.
Oh, please
Father
go.
figures versus biological fathers.
Yeah.
Is there a difference in
there are.
how they are represented in the home?
They are. But the order of pecking is different. I will put the last to baby daddies and also dating a boyfriend whom you're trying to bring into the picture. Look, biological fathers, uncles, cousins, social circle, they play a major role. It is so important, first and foremost, to have a biological father present. There are times when you are not together, but the father is available and willing, and they are present because they are showing up. They may not be there with them, but they are showing up for every activity, every game, they are there. They are paying the fees, they are doing what is required. So practically, whatever is required of them, they show up. The problem comes when the language of the mother now begin to set the father off. I have a story, not the direct story that I worked on, but a friend, where this man will send things to the kids and the woman will push it as if she's the one who's doing it. So ultimately, these kids have grown up thinking this man did nothing for them. And all along, their fees, everything, he kept sending it to the woman to pay for. One thing happened and he realized that, oh my word, so now he goes to the school, puts it, give this to your mother to pay the fees. Give this to your mother to buy this. Give this to your mother to, so that they can now see that you are present and providing. And it's very important that those elements. When it comes to boyfriends that your single moms are dating, see, the authority that you give to that man is what will let the kids really own up to it. Recently, I read a story from the United States where this man took care of this girl throughout, from primary school all the way through elementary until uni. This girl graduated college. They had 8 tickets to bring people, and guess what? He was not invited. He was not invited. That broke him. Look, I keep saying there is no advantage in marriage for a man anyway. It's even worse when you have to deal with now stepchildren. So if the mother does not connect it well, a lot of men today are missing that opportunity and they are not actually embracing it. Too many of us men don't want it. So the born ones and twos, we need to pray with you for something to come up life.
What challenges are presented, when a father figure is not around? I know you've mentioned a couple, and how can, families like that face those challenges and address them?
Oh, I think some of the clear-cut challenges is the behavior of the kids. One, they are usually, look, when fathers are present, they are able to regulate aggression. When they are absent, a lot of our mothers are not able to handle the aggression of boys. So many times, if you watch a boy who is coming out of a home like that, they actually can really be out of control. One woman took a tablet, from the boy, and the boy broke everything in that house. Every single thing in that house.
He's a spoiled child.
But when a man is present, one guy quit soccer, that he's no more going to play, and he was just talking to the mother anyhow. The mom called the dad. When the dad showed up, this guy stood up because there's a man present. See, there's something about men. When a man understands that the next guy is also aggressive, they are mindful. The reason why men play the most aggressive sports, but they have tremendous respect for themselves, is because you don't know what this guy is also coming with. You are aggressive, the next guy is also aggressive. So they have that respect for themselves. Look, a few weeks ago, I was just from one city to another driving through airports. And it's so easy how men connect respect with one another. When they see themselves, you don't need to say anything. Just look at them, eye contact, nod.
And that's it.
Respect.
Yeah.
And look, we sat down somewhere, some people join in. That's it. Conversation start.
Yeah.
And boys can hold conversation like they've known themselves for the past 10 years. Yeah. You know, the invites is a different ball game. You know, so look, it's so important that you will understand that the kind of regulation that a father will bring into a boy who is getting emotional and getting out of, they will regulate it. How they are aggressive with their sisters, how they talk to their sisters. All these things, the fathers, when they are present, can put in check. Many times the boys are not listening to their mothers.
Reverend, let's go back to the single parents. Okay. What advice would you give to a single parent who is trying to, should I say, introduce a father figure into the house, into her household, for her children or for her child?
Look.
Or his child.
It is so difficult to find husbands today. There are a lot of men out there, but it's difficult to find a good man who would be a husband to you and a father to your children, especially when they are not your biological children. I keep saying that men in that state have no advantage in that relationship, because when they lose you, they will lose the children also. And these are children they are really investing into. Their hard-earned money is taking care of another man's children. And don't get it wrong. These kids can wake up one day and say, we are going to look for our father. The dynamics changes immediately. So when that guy can be able to go over that hurdle and make up his mind that I want you, and because I want you, I'm willing to accommodate all this. Look, you must count your stars blessed, because someone has stepped up to be able to do what a lot of people would not. Now, that means that the onus lies on you to make sure it works, to make sure that you bring the kids in subjection to the authority of this man. When you speak certain languages in the presence of the kids, and he's trying to correct them, and the kids say, but you're not my father, you have no authority over me. Look, it breaks a man from there. And there is nothing you can do to such a man to say, oh, it's okay, he would never do it. I know someone who said that, look, I don't mind, their father is not dead. I like you, I want to date you. They are here, I can do some things, but the father needs to be present in their lives. At any point in time, when I feel this is not, sorry, I walk away.
Reverend, what if there's no father? What if the father has passed away?
Then you even have a bigger responsibility to know that this man is taking on something that he's already lost the game from the beginning. You must understand. Look, even the straight jacket one, when it's you and the guy, there's no advantage in there for the guy anyway. So now to bring on, I don't want to say a load, to bring on kids that he did not actually give birth to, trust me, it's already a load on his shoulder. So if he's willing to do that, I'm telling you, you are a blessed woman. You might have some magic that is working with this guy, and you must be able to do your utmost best to ensure that he feels safe, he feels secured, and he has the authority to run his home. But if you make him feel like a third citizen, all right, then definitely you're going to have issues. And many men are not going to do it anyway. Many men today. A few years ago, yeah, but now, a man am I oh, too much.
Oh, wow. Reverend, what about community support? Is it important to have maybe a community that supports you, or even as a father, a community that supports you in raising kids? Is it important?
We used to have this at the utmost because of our culture. They used to say that you give birth, but it's a society that raises the children. Today is never like that. It's never like that. We never used to have, walled houses. You could practically walk from this house, walk into the next house. When you come from school and your parents are not around, that neighbor across the street can call you and give you food to eat, can discipline you. When they see you doing something wrong, they actually can step up and discipline you. When your parents are back, they will catch you, come and report that, buddy is saying, me, yeah, say. Today, when you try to discipline another woman, I'm telling you, it's a whole new ball game. So society is not interested in really, you can see your child misbehave, they look on like this and walk away. At first, when you give birth, you know, I had a term recently say, you take abofrane free. So God forbid, let's say now, Eno is in Accra doing all her, and then she meets this beautiful, nice, handsome guy, you know, dusted, they started going out, a baby is in, but Eno need to continue with her life. So the mother or the grandmother says, Fabofrane Brene, I mean, Heno, na koso na bo bra, na chechre brabo ni, so that you will be better than, a lot of, you know, used to do it. Today, we are even calling these people in those villages as witches. So when we are going to our hometown, we don't even send our children.
Leave them here.
What we have done to ourselves, because of, you call it modernization, whatever, I don't even understand what these things are. Look, what we've done to ourselves is taking so much out. Look, today, a lot of people cannot take their children to go and see their grandmothers. Because all the grandmothers are witches.
That's that thing.
The poor ones. You go to the village, they will kill you. So a lot of people, you know, people will live life, you know, get to a level in their journey, you know. When they go to their villages, they park a car somewhere.
Yeah.
And walk or take trotro. Because they don't want people to see I'm doing well, you know, and no, they don't want to expose themselves like this. It's okay. That's your belief. That's how you want to, you know, we don't want to. But what I tell people is, look, if you are not sending your kids home, you are also teaching them we don't go to our old people. One day you'll be old.
You'll be old.
And guess who they are not coming to?
You.
So one of the things I always say is, show them. Don't buy things. Sometimes take them to go and buy things you are taking to your mother or your grandmother. What you're doing is you're showing them how it's done. Because 30 years down the line, 40 years down the line, it will be you. But you've taught them how it's done. So they will learn how to also take their children to go and buy gifts and bring to you. So there are gifts I take it to my mom. There are things I take them to go and do the shopping. And then what can we get for grandma? What can we get for grandma? You are paying this one. You are paid. You saved up. You use some of your money.
Yeah, to buy for grandma.
And it's intentional. Because I'm teaching them and giving them the model, how it must be. Because 50 years down the line, I can't move. I can't come to city. I can't be doing this up and down things.
Yeah.
I'll be somewhere, you know, drinking soup with straw. You know, that's if he's not called me home. Yeah. And at that point, they are there. They would have kids. I would have grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and they will be coming. You know, so it's important that we don't lose that thing. Unfortunately, some of us have made us also Western, you know, that we've lost those touches in how we relate with others. So if you are in that situation, this is where you can send your kids to your grandma. Their uncles and their cousins and things are in the house. They become the father figure that you may not have in your house. And they will begin to develop. And there they train. That's how I got trained. My father was not present because he passed on early. I had uncles, strong, that will give it to you. Military style. Yeah. So you end up shaping up because they are father figures. Yeah. They might not be your biological father, but that's why they are father figures. Present to give you the discipline you need.
Reverend Bernice, always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
me. I've learned a lot, if nothing at all. As a father, try and be present. Just try. Because it's very important for the upbringing of a child. We have more for you. Don't go away.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great. Yes, I can. They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is gonna be so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long. On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your life.
Imagine a place where technology and compassion meet. A sanctuary of health, precision, and trust. At Olive Health Diagnostics and Imaging, we redefine excellence. From advanced ultrasound, X-ray, and CT scan services to accurate laboratory, cardiology, and dentistry, our mission is clear: to provide the care you deserve with accuracy, precision, and speed. Your trusted healthcare partner, Olive Health Diagnostics, always ready whenever you need us. Olive Health Diagnostics and Imaging, redefining excellence in medical diagnostics.
Hi, friend. Where are we going today?
Just use your imagination.
Go, go, go!
My family is the only thing that matters to me right now.
This is the stuff that you need to read about.
These guys are the best.
GoTV's ready to take you from your hometown to roaring stadiums and even on international adventures. So let's go together, from home or on the go with GoTV Stream.
Sounds like a great idea.
Woohoo! GoTV. Love it.
This Sunday on The Upside Down Show, sit with us as we get to understand dyslexia. Our guest, Rosalind Abigail Trednati, is a person living with the condition. She recounts the most embarrassing and unforgettable moments in her life and how she was misunderstood and chastised.
My cousins came over and they brought these storybooks, beautiful ones. One time they called me and said, "Can you read a page?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, give me the book." And I picked it. I stared at it like this. I stared and stared and stared. I can't identify.
What were you seeing? Yeah, what
I was
happening?
just seeing the book, like the writings, but I can't identify the words.
Not forgetting some soothing tunes from Upland Unique.
Oh, mon amour, ouais, j'aime bien tout ce qu'on fait, surtout sous les draps. Petit, c'est temporaire, je préviens que ça dure, Petit.
Stay tuned with Freme Dunyame and Nana Tufo Boateng this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt, only on Channel 1 TV.
The gentleman who is joining me today, I like to describe him as a true black star. He's a Master Sergeant of the U.S. Army, currently stationed in Korea, Mr. Samuel Amateama, Master Sergeant Samuel Amateama. Hello, let me give you the respect, soldier.
Wow, thank you, thank you. I like that.
So that's like half a tin.
No, let's add it in here some more. We're trying to make it rich because I know you're classy. You got to be rich. So based on that, we're going to add. Now I'm going to add something called the apple. Where's my apple juice right here?
Apple juice is here.
Why do I add the apple juice? Just to give you that apple flavor. I'm going to give you $100 bill.
Okay.
Hold on to that.
Okay.
This is going to happen. Anybody in the comments on social media, do you think it's going to be good with hair with the blue hair or the red hair? Those who want blue hair, just type in blue in the comments. Those who want the red hair, type in red in the comments. We're going to see who the winner is, and then you're going to choose one person yourself to come for the $100 bill. So we have the oil, just in case the butter doesn't work out, we use the oil, okay?
Okay.
Is it hot now?
Yeah, it's hot.
Okay. So I'm going to put a bit of the butter in there. Oh, good.
Okay.
Perfect. Could we swivel it around a little bit, not too much? In there, and it becomes more,
It works.
easily accessible to all. Get some jollof.
No,
going.
I trust you, and we'll use tasty. Oh my goodness! Just when I thought you weren't going to come today.
Why wouldn't you want me to come?
Because you come and eat all my food. This is one of my favorite things, and then you're coming to eat it.
What's Cooking is brought to you by Tasty Tom, Kivo Pepper, and Lily Rice.
When the stars come out, Ghana Weekend turns up the lights. From the hottest red carpet moments to the wildest after parties. And for all your celebrations, anniversaries, and unforgettable moments, if it's happening, we're there. First, fast, and fabulously. Your front row pass to Ghana's A-list lifestyle is just a click or a channel away. GhanaWeekend.com and Ghana Weekend TV, where fame meets the fans. Promote your next big event with us, because when you party with the stars, the whole nation of Black Stars should know. Visit GhanaWeekend.com, watch and subscribe to Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube. Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle at GhanaWeekend.com, on X at Ghana Weekend, on TikTok, Ghana Weekend, and on Facebook at Ghana Weekend. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, all access, all glam, all yours.
Welcome back. This is Sunday Breakfast right here on Channel 1 TV. We are live from our studios and just gone by in a really interactive and insightful conversation with our counselor, Reverend Benny, on the role of fathers, in the lives of, their children, their family. Very, very important conversations. If you missed it, it's up on our YouTube channel, or it will be up on our YouTube channel. You can go there, subscribe, like, and share. It's very important. Share the link. Exactly. Back in studio, we'll continue the show, but it's time for our health segment, our health conversation, where we look at a really important conversation. And as always, our very good friend on the show, you could say she's our third wheel of a sort, right? Dr. Kalsum Adam, who is a public health advocate and also a maxillofacial surgeon. Practitioner.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Doc, good morning and welcome to Sunday Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Always welcome. It's a pleasure. Today on the show, we're looking at a conversation, or we're looking at a topic, osteoarthritis. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah, you did.
You don't have to flatter me. Because it's a mouthful, right?
Yeah, but you did.
But we get the impression also that it appears very common.
Yes, it does.
Wow.
Due to the fact that we would actually touch a little more on the risk factors.
Okay.
And that would help us understand its distribution and then the epidemiology associated with osteoarthritis.
Wow.
But basically osteoarthritis, two words, osteo and then arthritis. So osteoarthritis is one of the, commonly you would call it arthritis. People would just say arthritis, and arthritis is from two words. So it's from arthro, which is the joint, and then itis. So itis has to do with inflammation. Okay, so when you have inflammation surrounding the joint, or any of the components of the joint has some inflammation associated, depending on the cause, then you would have a particular name to it. So if you have arthritis as a result of a degenerative cause, to the or which is associated with the cartilage, okay, then we would say that we have osteoarthritis. If you do have arthritis as a result of an autoimmune condition, so autoimmune is basically self fighting self, then we'll say that, okay, then it's likely it's more of the rheumatoid arthritis.
Right.
If you have inflammation of the joint again, and it's as a result of some metabolites, so accumulation of some metabolites like your uric acid, then we see that it's likely that you have something we call gout. Then if you do have arthritis as a result of some infection, so a bacterial infection most commonly, then we see that it's septic, so it's septic arthritis. But today's topic is basically osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis it's a degenerative disease. So chronic joint condition as a result of a degeneration of the cartilage. So when you look at your joint, you have various components. So we basically would say simply, if you have one bone and then another bone meeting at a point, that joint, that becomes a joint for you. But then you wouldn't, and joints help you to be able to move, to be able to perform some functions. But these two bones, or two or three bones, where they meet, it's likely that we don't want these bones rubbing against each other.
Yeah.
Okay. If you do have these bones rubbing against each other, you notice that you end up having friction.
Okay.
You end up having attrition.
Yeah.
And then eventually you end up having pain and all of that. So to prevent that, as part of the component of the joint, you have something we call the cartilage.
Okay.
Okay, so the cartilage usually will line the surface of the bone so that it's smooth in such a way that now it can glide smoothly, nicely, and then you can perform your function without any problems.
Yeah.
But then when you have a problem associated with this cartilage, such that it starts to degenerate, and then eventually causes changes around the surfaces of the bones that are around it, means that now you end up having some friction, you end up having some attrition of these joints, and then eventually to lead to the pain that you may feel, and then loss of function, and then eventually the patient would...
It's interesting. You know, I host a car show on CTFM every Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Called the Total Energies Auto Show. And listen to your explanation of what a cartilage is. Maybe in cars, you would say that would be like your bushings, right?
Yes.
You know, that thing in between two heavy objects.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. For footballers and football lovers, they come across a lot of the things we intend on talking about within, you know, this discussion a lot, right? Because like, so the ligament, you know,
exactly.
Storm,
okay.
You know,
all right.
You know, a lot of the time we don't even know what it means, right?
Yeah.
But we just hear the doctors and the health
ligament tear and all of that. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes even they say a muscle pull and all of that.
Yes.
Just explain, you know, the different parts of the
you have. Okay.
And we'll take it from there.
All right. So basically, as I mentioned, you have one bone, another bone coming together. The surfaces of these bones are covered by the cartilage so that you don't end up having friction.
Yeah.
Then you have ligaments. So ligaments are just tough structures that join maybe from one bone to the other.
Okay.
Okay, so these ligaments, what they do is that they tend to stabilize the joints.
Okay.
Such that it prevents excessive movement of that joint.
Okay.
Okay. Once you stabilize it, then it can guide the joint for the right movement to be done. That is what ligaments do. Now, the cartilage, as we said, the cartilage would also line the surfaces of these bones and then help with smooth movement and then prevent the raw surfaces of these bones to glide on each other and then eventually cause more distraction.
Yeah.
And then we also have something else, which is called the synovial fluid and the synovial membrane. So the synovial fluid and the synovial membrane, what it does is that the synovial membrane would line the inner surface of the joint capsule.
Okay.
So when all of these comes together, there's a capsule that helps to stabilize that joint. So this synovial membrane would line the inner surfaces of this joint capsule. And it produces the fluid, which is the synovial fluid.
Wow.
Now this synovial fluid, what does it do? It nourishes. Okay, so it nourishes the joint components. And then it also lubricates the joint. Okay, and then it also acts as a shock absorber. Do you get it? So there are different components of a joint. But now, today's discussion is focusing on the cartilage, and when you have problems associated with the cartilage usually is not vascularized. It doesn't have blood vessel. So it's usually would rely on the synovial, its nourishment from the synovial fluid. You get it? So if it is degenerating, or there are problems associated with the joints that cause the degeneration of this joint, which cannot be reproduced, means that you end up having some destruction that you cannot do something about, because you can't regenerate this cartilage that we are talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Back to the ligament, it can get torn.
Yes, it can.
What are the ways in which they get torn?
Basically, it has to do with what? Excessive forces. So possibly in athletics like this, if you do have some injury to the ligament, it can get torn. If you have anything that would exert a lot of force to a particular joint, can lead to a tear of this ligament. And then, based on where it is located, you would be investigated, and then it can be repaired.
So for all the parts we see, within the bone, structure or the joint, should a damage occur to any part, would you describe it as osteoarthritis?
No.
Or it has to be specific?
So, osteoarthritis basically has to do, it's a degeneration. Degeneration of the cartilage.
Okay.
So I've mentioned various parts that make the joints. But now, when there is degeneration, there is wear and tear down off the cartilage.
The cartilage, specifically?
Specifically the cartilage.
Okay.
Now, after that wear and tear of the cartilage, it means that it will mean that the bones will now start rubbing on
against each other. Yeah.
Now, when the bones start rubbing against each other, the surfaces of these surrounding bones also tend to now develop some abnormality, and then eventually it leads to a joint dysfunction.
Okay.
That is what osteoarthritis is basically
if
about.
There's a cartilage, not cartilage, if there's a ligament torn or a crack in the femur or something, that's something else.
No, that's something different. Exactly.
Different.
So if it's a fracture, if it's a crack in the bone, it's a fracture. Okay, if it is a ligament injury, that's a ligament injury that needs to be sorted about. For this osteoarthritis, we are dealing with this, and there are a lot of risk factors associated with it. So the risk factors for osteoarthritis that has been documented, the fact that aging.
Really?
Yes, so aging, basically we say anybody above 40 years has the risk of developing osteoarthritis. Another risk factor could be obesity. So obesity, having overweight, in fact, overweight. That is beyond
when your BMI
overweight.
Is completely
exactly.
Out of.
So when your BMI is beyond 35, obesity, in that category, you have a higher risk of developing osteoarthritis. Reasons being that there will be a lot of load on the joints. And once there's a lot of load on the joint, then it can lead to that uneven pressures and forces on these joints, and then eventually you end up having some osteoarthritis. Another risk factor is the fact that some people tend to have injuries. So injuries. So when you have injury to, it's good you mentioned the injury. So when you have an injury to maybe one of your ligaments, or you have an injury to the bone, such that it is fixed, but it is not well aligned. So if it is not well aligned, it means that there will be some forces, undistributed forces on the joints, such that now part of the cartilage may be affected more than another part of the, so uneven forces. So now that you have these uneven forces, it can lead to degeneration of this cartilage, and then eventually you may end up with osteoarthritis.
Wow. You've talked about aging, you've talked about aging, you also talk about obesity.
Obesity, we've also spoken about injuries. Injuries associated.
Wow. How about family history, for example?
Yes, family history is also very important. So family history of osteoarthritis also puts you at a greater risk of developing osteoarthritis. The reason being that we mentioned the cartilage is a very smooth surface or a structure that lines the surfaces of the bones. Now, if you do have family history, it means that there's some genetic predisposition.
Okay.
Now, this genetic genes play a very vital role in the expression of your cartilage. So the quality of the cartilage. So if there's some genetic aberration, it can affect the quality of the cartilage that is produced.
I asked you about family history because I know for other similar joint pains, for example, rheumatism, maybe just very briefly, is there a relationship between osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis?
Okay, so there are differentials that you can have. So rheumatoid arthritis is autoimmune. So the causative factor has to do with yourself not recognizing itself and then mounting an immunity on some of the joints components and then causing inflammation in those joints. And usually for the rheumatoid arthritis, it's usually symmetrical.
Okay.
It's not just on one side. So most of the time it's symmetrical. So if it's affecting the right knee, it's likely to be affecting the left knee as well.
Okay.
Then also there are other things that you can use to differentiate. When you do your labs, you would be able to differentiate what osteoarthritis is from rheumatoid arthritis. And usually for rheumatoid arthritis, you tend to have very increased inflammatory markers compared to the osteoarthritis. The other thing is that even with the presentation of the pain, for rheumatoid arthritis, most of the time, the pain, you wake up with the pain, and then the pain becomes better as you do your daily activities. As opposed to the other one where you wake up and as the osteoarthritis, as you are moving, as you are working, that's when the pain, becomes worse. So all of these are ways to be able to differentiate which one is osteoarthritis and which one is rheumatoid.
Because I asked you that because I know people who their grandfathers, probably suffer from some form of arthritis, and it's
then
gone
it's
down
running
generations, right?
Yeah.
Is that way?
The reason, as I was mentioning, is because of the genetic predisposition. It can affect the quality of the cartilage that is produced. It can affect even the bone, the surfaces of the bone, the quality of the bone that is produced. It can also even affect how the ligaments are aligned because of the poor quality of the bone. You get it? And then there's something that we call collagen. Yes, collagen is a protein.
Okay.
So it is mainly what you see in the cartilage. So it can also affect the quality of the collagen that is produced. So if there's poor collagen within the cartilage, then it means that your cartilage is going to undergo some wear and tear, and in no time you may end up with osteoarthritis.
Interesting. We'll come to what you can do to, ensure that you manage this situation. But very briefly, we talk about the fact that it could pass on, it's genetic. Is there a way you can break this generational, not a curse, but like, end the cycle? Is it possible?
It can be managed.
But not completely
So
cured.
if it's something that you have noticed that it runs
through
the family, what you need to do is that you need to screen yourself as early as possible. And we've mentioned that you being obese is a risk factor. So you need to make sure that you manage your diet such that you don't end up being in that extreme, because that means that it will give you a double risk factor of developing osteoarthritis. And then you need to also make sure that you are regularly checking to be sure that you are not getting there. And there are some physical exercises that you can do to help reduce. So you can only reduce the rate at which you get to that full-blown osteoarthritis, but you can't stop it
completely
because of its genetic predisposition.
So how do we tackle this, right? Or what are the remedies?
That you have to do. Yes.
Or
so it depends on the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
So the signs and symptoms may basically be that you may end up having pain.
Okay.
So pain associated with the joints. Then there could be swelling. associated with the joint as well. Then if nothing is done about it, it can even lead to loss of function. So reduced function or loss of function to that particular limb, that particular joint associated. And stiffness, because of the fact that maybe you have pain, so you can't move that joint, so it can end up becoming stiff. Okay, so what do we do about it? So to take care, to be able to manage, to be able to treat this, you manage it. Okay, so how do you manage? For the pain, over-the-counter pain relief is possible. Then if the pain threshold is very, very severe, you need to quickly come to the hospital for it to be managed. So don't self-medicate. You can only do the over-the-counter medications, but then if it is not resolving the pain, you quickly need to come to the hospital for that to be sorted out. Another home remedy for pain could be that you can use your warm or cold compress. So your warm or cold compress would help soothe the pain and then relieve these minor pain that the patient may end up having. Then we come back to our good old exercising. So if you notice that your BMI is actually in the range of obesity, you need to be able to bring down your BMI so that it's now within the healthy or the normal range. And you can do some physiotherapy as well. So some exercises that can be done. And these exercises will help to help the joint to move in particular ways that would reduce the pain that you'd have. The other way that...
one of those exercises?
Sorry?
Is swimming one of those exercises? Or depend on the physiotherapist's
It
advice?
depends on the physiotherapist's advice, but it depends. If there are times that even the patient themselves will be able to tell that, okay, when I do this particular exercise, I tend to feel better.
Yeah.
And then now it becomes case by case analysis. Then the other ways that aside you reducing your weight and then you making sure that you are doing your physiotherapy, if the pain becomes very, very severe to the extent that once it is diagnosed, you notice that the whole joint has become very dysfunctional, then there's a role for surgery where there could be a hole or that particular joint would have to be replaced with a prosthesis. So these are the ways by which you can actually manage this osteoarthritis. Then make sure that you are always taking in or hydrating as much as possible. You hydrate well, important. And then also you have a balanced diet to help with even your joint health.
Oh,
yeah.
Look, thank you so much, for the insights. I'm sure it's a conversation football lovers would really, really enjoy. But before you go, I think maybe you should just clarify on which parts of the joints we experience this more, right? Is it
so basically, yes, so basically the hip, the knee, sometimes even your ankle, or most of the time, and then even the shoulder joint. So then the knee, the hip, the shoulder joints, most of the time, that is where
interesting.
End up
Before we go, there's a message for you. Good morning. Thanks for this topic. The cartilage in my knee is gone, so I can't walk at all. I always read from sources that it can be regenerated. Is it true? And is it also related to kidney function? This is from Siemens.
Okay. So if Siemens, if you have been to the hospital, I would advise that you see an orthopedic surgeon to have a look at it again. And you need to be diagnosed properly. But I'm not too sure who made the diagnosis about the fact that the whole cartilage is gone. If the cartilage is gone, unfortunately, you can't regenerate the cartilage. The cartilage cannot be, the cartilage in between the joints cannot be regenerated. So he has to be properly diagnosed. Then if he falls into the category of knee replacement or the joint replacement, that can be done.
Interesting.
So I'd advise that he has that assessed at the hospital.
Dr. Kalsum. People were asking me questions this week when some appointments were coming. They were asking me if we're related to some people.
My God,
I said, no. I don't know. Maybe you'll be taking us to Spain, I don't know. But thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Thank you
too
for
having me.
Insights,
thank you too for having me.
So it's now time for our community development segment, and there's this report about the state of, a very peculiar challenge, the region I'm not really sure of, but let's take a look at this report.
What used to be a short 5 to 10 minute walk through sugarcane and maize fields has now turned into an hour-long journey by wooden canoe through floodwaters without life jackets. Welcome to Mamime and Laoshime, two flood-stricken farming communities in the Keta municipality. At Laoshime MA Basic School, classes for younger people have been suspended. The road to the school is submerged and the trek is now too dangerous. Patience Dogbache, a voluntary teacher, says the school had no choice but to close for the younger grades as navigating the floodwaters put their lives at risk.
It's very bad, very, very bad. The kids, I am a KG teacher, so at times if I went to school with the kids like that, you have to hold their hands. So even if some are trying to fall, you have to make sure they don't fall. For now, the grown-ups from JHS, from upper primary to JHS, they may go into school, but the lower primary and then the KGs, they've not been going to school because of the flooding.
She added that most teachers reject posting to the area due to its harsh conditions and urge authorities to intervene.
Because we don't have electricity here, some of the teachers, if they post them, they don't come because there's no light, no road. So now one solution, like the government should help us with the canoe, the life jackets, and then the road.
The flood hasn't just soaked the land, it has swept away hope. Some homes still sit in waist-deep water, while others are drying salvaged belongings. Farmlands that sustain livelihoods are now submerged in stagnant water. Chamiga Power at Desenyo, a community leader in Mamime, told Channel 1 News that although construction of a road and bridge began some time ago, the project has stalled. He is calling for swift government intervention. Other residents echo the call, pleading for immediate support, especially life jackets and canoes, to help them move across the floodwaters safely. Response, Keta MC Wisdom Siade said an assessment is underway to determine the full extent of the damage. He backed the temporary closure of schools for younger children, calling it a necessary safety precaution.
Yeah, we cannot build a bridge immediately, so we want to give them boats and the canoes so that they can be using. The officers are moving there to finalize the assessment work so that we cannot deploy some relief items to support those that have been affected. Yeah, school is going on. It's only the little ones that we fear that they may have their life may be in danger, that they stop them from going to school.
Residents here in Mamime and Laoshime in the Keta municipality of the Volta region are appealing to authorities, especially NADMO and government, to come to their aid and provide them with some safety equipment to prevent the loss of life. They are also calling on authorities to ensure that school children are protected during the flooding season. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Lamime in the Keta municipality. My name is Desmond Salazar.
So there you have it. Our correspondent in the Volta region, Desmond Selassie, got filing a report about the state of affairs in the Keta Municipal Assembly, a community known as Lamime La Hoshime, where we are being told that schooling activities has been brought to a complete standstill. The committee members themselves, their farmland, have been significantly also destroyed, and they are appealing to authorities to come to their aid with regards to finding lasting solutions to the flooding situation there. And it's interesting because last week we also spoke about how a school in the Bono region,
Mhm.
Lala Island.
Lala, yes.
People were telling me that they didn't know we had an island in Ghana.
Oh, we do.
Right?
Several,
Apparently we
actually.
do. Yeah, in the Bono region. And, so people are not going to school, obviously, because there are no, it's very far away from the community. There's no electricity. When it rains, it becomes completely chaotic, and now we've come back to this again. Students are not going to school because the campus or the school building gets flooded and it's virtually unsafe for them. Beyond that, it's also affecting farmlands, economic activities. Will we ever get to face this educational infrastructure problem in the country?
I'm beginning to doubt it because there have been several times where, this thing has come up. Students are on their way to school, boats have capsized, and it's unfortunate that such a situation keeps happening. There'll be an inquiry, there'll be, and they'll list out what we must do, there'll be promises, life jackets, what, and then we come back to the same situation. I keep saying that as journalists, when we finish writing a story, we can as well keep it on a shelf because next year we'll repeat the cycle again. Same thing, same promises, nothing ever changes. But joining us is our Volta Regional Correspondent, Desmond Salasiago. Hi, Desmond, good morning.
Good morning, Eno. Good
How are
morning,
you
Jude.
doing?
Yeah.
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. You want to start? Jude?
Yes, so Desmond, quite an interesting report you filed there. We have been told learning, or let me say schooling activities, to a large extent has come to a complete standstill. What else can you report with regards to how devastating this flooding has been for residents in the community?
All right, Jude. Thank you. Students or pupils below basic 4 are the ones who are asked to stay home now because of their age and their height. When you enter the water, for me it will be at my neck level.
Wow.
For some, it will be around their waist. Some their chest. Sorry. So just imagine a kid who is going to school and is in class 2, where the water will be for him or her. So for this reason, they are being asked to be in the house.
Wow.
Unfortunately, too, the canoe use is just very small. It's very small that they can't, about only 2 or 3 can be in the canoe. So if a canoe rider should drive 1 to school or 3 to school, come back to pick another 3, and imagine if these kids are about 20 or 40, how many times will the rider go on this trip before students or these people will begin classes? So for this reason, the community leaders have decided to make these kids stay at the house.
Wow.
This area is a farming community. I can tell you on the fact that about 90% of the farms have been destroyed or taken over by the floods. Where we passed to the community, or where I passed to the community, used to be a farmland. We have sugarcane, tomato, pineapple, maize, amongst others. In the report, you could see we were passing through sugarcane farm or sugarcane plantation. We also passed through some okra farms and some maize farms. So these people are now in a state where they don't know what to do. They are now surrounded by the flood water. Their farmlands have been taken over by the flood water.
That's what...
Also, they might.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So they are about to just harvest before this unfortunate incident happened. So they are devastated. They don't know what to do. They've lost a lot. Where they went to borrow or to take money to start the farm, they don't know how to pay this money back to the persons they went to take the money from. Some woman was telling me she took about 10,000 to start her farm. Now she's in debt. She doesn't know what to do. They don't even know when the water is going to recede or to go away. So they are just stuck in their homes. Even in their homes too, they are still staying with the water. Some homes are completely destroyed. by the water, but you can still see some people sleeping on the bare floor just because their rooms have been taken over by this.
Desmond, are you saying that these children wade through the water to school? So I see them holding their shoes, but so they're sitting in classrooms wet during
So for now,
the duration? Okay.
So the picture you are saying was
Mhm.
when the flooding started.
Okay.
But when I went there, it was more than this. The water was more than this. So they don't even pass through the water now. They now use the canoe, which some are even leaking because they are canoes about 5 or 6 years ago, built about some 5 or 6 years ago. So now they are just appealing for new canoe, life jackets, amongst others, safety equipment to help them get to school safely. Even the community members, the elderly ones too, they also need these items to protect themselves when traveling or going to other communities. Because even when you have to go to the next town, you still need a canoe.
Interesting.
The closest community is about some 5 to 10 minutes walk. But now when you use the canoe, it's about 20 to 30 minutes. So the elderly ones also need this canoe and life jackets to get to this destination.
Desmond, when you engage the students, right, and I'm sure you've been speaking to them, what have they been saying to you together with their parents, right? Because looking at the circumstances under which they have to get to their classroom, I'm wondering their mental and even physical state, for smooth teaching and learning, walking through the water like that. Are they even in the right frame of mind to be able to understand what is being taught in class? When you engage the students, the pupils, and their parents, what do they tell you?
All right, so a voluntary teacher told me most teachers who are not in the community have stopped coming to school. Reason why she is a voluntary teacher teaching in the school. According to her, there's no light or there's no electricity in the community as well. So these teachers who are posted to the area refuse posting. They come a week or two. When they see conditions are not in the right state, they leave. I saw most kids in the area just playing around. Although some feel it's a holiday, others also know the reason why they are in the house.
Wow.
So when I spoke to some, they said yes, they don't want to risk their life crossing to the other community to school, whilst their friends in the cities just walk or some even take out to school. So they won't risk their life.
Let me find out from you.
School.
Yes, your point is made. Let me find out from you also the local assembly. What's been their role in this? Because we know they have health, supervisors or persons at the municipal assembly who are to look out for some of these concerns. Because we are being told that you could even possibly get infected, due to the state of the water. I'm not really sure if it's clean water they are walking through like that. So have you reached out to the assembly on this particular report? What's been their official response in terms of tackling the issue for the students?
Yes, so I was speaking with the MC, Wisdom Siade, who told me they have begun some assessments to know the level of destruction in the area. They are also going to provide the affected communities with some canoes and life jackets. In terms of health, we didn't really speak much on the health aspect. We were just first looking at the immediate solution, which is the provision of the life jackets, the canoes, and others. But he also told me construction of a bridge and some road began some years ago, but it got to a point they didn't continue. So they are for the long term they are going to look at the construction of the bridge and also a road to these communities.
Since the story broke, I've not heard from the member of parliament from the area, but I believe it's Honorable Kwame Gakpe. Has he been to the constituency in the aftermath of the flood? And if he's been there, what has he been saying to residents, particularly those affected, by the flooding?
For now, I've not received any reports about him going to the community. I've also not spoken to him yet. For now, I'm only dealing with the assembly to know their immediate what they'll be doing immediately to assist these people. So for now, I'm yet to speak with the MP. So I can't
Alright.
say on record whether he's there or not. But from
Okay.
reports that I've seen, I've not seen him in any of the pictures.
All right. Hold on for us, Desmond, and let's go over the phone lines and speak to Israel Mensah. He's Assembly Member for Lahoshime. Many thanks for joining us on Sunday Breakfast.
Thank you.
The community is advocating for a bridge, life jackets, and canoes. How will this help your situation in the interim?
Thank you. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity. And the situation we are in currently, what we need now is road construction. Not necessarily only the bridge. Road to link Hatawodo to Mamima, and a road from Atiavi to Devagodo to Agofinu Enclave. Because I have two schools under the later area, Agofinu and MA Basic, and the teachers and learners are suffering in this period.
Does your community flood often when it rains?
It's the annual ritual. After this one, we may be expecting another one in October, November.
Right. So that means this is not the first time this is happening. It happens often.
Yes, please.
Right.
Mr. Wisdom Siade, are you able to create, a pictorial, view of which areas particularly are referring to, or which areas this flooding is particularly heightened in?
Please.
Hello, sir.
Well, I'm Israel Mensah, Assembly Member for area.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Yeah.
My question to you was, can you create a picture for us? Which areas have been particularly affected by the flooding?
Yeah, from Mamima to Laoshima. You cannot move from Mamima to Laoshima or commit to and fro Mamima, Laoshima and Mamima. And from Sungba to Laoshima. And between Agovinu and Atiavi Enclave. Apaflakota and Agovinu, and between Devenu and Agovinu Basic School, they are all flooded.
Interesting. Now, I want to also find out from you, right, what is the assembly doing? Any measures in place to address, the situation with regards to school children having to walk through flooded water to school? We are being told that some teachers have already abandoned ship. They are no longer going to class. The children now have to walk through the water to go to school. Practically, for some of them, doing nothing really. Have you engaged the Ghana Education Service? Are they aware of the situation? What role is the Assembly playing in all of this? Quite a number of issues. Tidy up for us.
Thank you. As a representative of the area, I officially notified the office of the MC, for that matter, the Keta Municipal Assembly. And last Friday we had a committee, and we said in the House to take decision as to what to do immediately to support my electorate before we'll be expecting the central government or government to intervene by constructing road from Atiavi to Agovinu Enclave and from Atogodo to Lounge. So Assembly has been written to, they've seen everything through video, and even the MC, he knows the area properly, and they are aware of this situation.
Mr. Mensah, so if I get you correctly, before moving it up, as an assembly member, the assembly, you've come together to find some makeshift solutions to the problem, if I got you correctly.
No, the assembly is yet to take a concrete decision as to what to do to.
Yeah, it's been over a week now. So what is holding back the assembly with regards to mobilizing itself, for some kind of, makeshift solutions or a temporary solution to the concerns?
For the learners to move from commit from Manima to launch very basic schools, the MC donated 3 Odum boards for renovation of old canoe. That one has been done. And it is not enough. When you look at the condition of that canoe still, it needs immediate intervention.
Is it a funding problem? Is it because as an assembly you don't have enough funds, to find temporary solutions to the flooding situation?
That may be one. The another one may be a bureaucratic nature of how assemblies are being run. Because before you take money from the assembly, basically, a situation like this, I am expecting something to be done immediately. But for that one, once I am not a PR, I can't speak to that effect. And once I've reported, written officially to the assembly, through the MC, I think should something to be done. It is should be done now.
If the situation continues as an assembly, will you push for the students to stay home, considering the fact that they have to walk through flooded water? Number one, it's not safe. Number two, they get to class, wet, their mental health and their mental state and physical state not in proper shape. If there's no solution in the interim, will you be minded to say students should stay home and not go to school at all?
Yes, please.
Let me just push further. So you mentioned to us earlier that this has come to the attention of the MC.
Yes, please.
Do we know if the member of parliament for the area, Kwame Gakpe, has been notified about this, and has he taken any measures at all to address the situation?
As for that one, since the unforeseen happened, I was finding very difficult to get in touch with him because I called him severally and he wasn't able to pick my call.
You called the member, you've been trying to reach the member of parliament, but he's not responded to your call on this particular issue, if I heard you correctly.
Yes, please. And that is why I've resorted to my way of, my area of operation, that is through the assembly.
So, Selassie, quite a rather unfortunate, development, right? Because we are being told that the member of parliament for the area is yet to, be seen in all of this. And this particular story has been running for close to a week, right? Beyond the affected school children, we also know that significant farmlands, have been destroyed as a result of the flood. How are farmers, coping with, their losses, particularly with the flooding situation there?
So for one farmer who I spoke with, he said, although he has harvested some of the produces, it's left for him to transport them to the market. And with this, he'll be needing a canoe and a life jacket. But for most or for others whose produces have been left on the farm without harvesting before the flood occurred, I can't say much for them. They've completely lost almost everything. So for them, it's a difficult situation for them. They will have to wait until the next farming season, and which some also say before the next farming season, they are not sure whether the water will recede for them to begin the next farming. So it's a very critical situation for these people. They are just worried, they are disturbed, and they are only hoping to God that some miracle of a sort happens for them to begin farming early.
Desmond, let me ask you this question briefly. You mentioned that you had spoken to the assembly. Did they give you any timelines? And you listed some things that they intend to do. Did they give you any timelines?
So when I spoke to the MC on Friday, he told me they were deploying some officials to the community, the Mamina community and the Laoshima community, to take some assessments and bring reports to him for immediate actions to be taken. For now, I'm still yet to get back to him or to get any answer from them on what they did and how it went, whether successful or not, and what solutions they are intending to give these people.
Right.
So by tomorrow, I should be concluding that and get back to you.
Okay. Well, lucky for us, we have the MCE on the line, Wisdom Siade, MCE for Keta. Thank you for joining us on Sunday Breakfast, sir.
Thank you, my sister. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. This situation, these floods have persisted for over a week. What's your assembly doing about it?
Well, so to put everything in context, this is a flooding that usually happens every year at that area. But this year's own is a serious one. But when the situation occurs, we deploy the NADMO to the area. By their assessment, farms have been taken, and some farm houses have also submerged to into the flood. So quickly, the challenge was movement of people. People could not move again to do their activities. School children could not cross the waters to the school. So quickly, we advanced some money for the repair of the old canoes that they have. So they have repaired the canoes, which they started using. The MP has also asked 2 new canoes to be built, which is almost done. A benevolent or an individual has also donated 2 canoes, which have been moved to the place. Dr. Kwesi Jokoto has also asked that 2 canoes be built for them. So in all, we have 4 canoes now they are using and 4 more coming to add up. The situation is that their residential structures are on the highland. So they are not mostly affected. It's the farms and the farmlands. And then the movement problem, which is the key, is what we are solving with the provision of the canoe to be able to make people move to school and to do other things. Yeah.
Interesting. Honorable Siade, beyond the stopgap measures, right, with the provision of the canoes, what is the Assembly doing to find a long-term solution to the flooding situation in the area?
Okay, so there are 2 things. The river that overflowed to cause the flooding, we are asking that it should be dredged, which we are working at with government. There is the need for a bridge to also be constructed to link place to the mainland, which the road minister visited the area and assessment has been done. We are waiting for a contract to be awarded for the construction of a bridge over the river to ease movement.
Interesting. And also, finally, before we let you go, we are being told that students in the area, walk in the flood water to school. If I get you correctly, due to the, or as a result of the provision of the canoe, come Monday, tomorrow, you're not going to see the students walk in the flooded water, right?
No. Immediately, they will not be walking in the flood water. It will only delay because we will not try to overload them. So we have provided some life jackets also, but they are just few for those little ones. So we will not want them to be overloaded in the canoes. Right. So it will take some time to take them 4, 5, maybe 6 to cross.
Mr. Siade, let me quickly ask you this question. Is your MP aware, and what is his role in all of this? Because we've been told by our correspondent there that he has not cited him himself.
Oh, the MP is in Accra, and we work together. So when the thing happened, we reported to him. He asked that 2 new canoes should be constructed for, built for the people, which by yesterday, it was almost completed. So that, as I told you, 4 is already there, 4, which is the new 4 will be added from Monday.
Interesting.
So the number of canoes will increase to fasten the process of moving the students to school.
Mr. Siade, we also told that beyond the schooling challenge, right, this problem has posed, right? Teachers have abandoned their classrooms. So I hope you work towards bringing them back. But also, farmers, right, have been affected. Our correspondent tells us that significant farmlands have been destroyed. Some of them were able to salvage some of their produce. Others have lost, quite substantial amounts of money as a result of the flood. Are you minded to provide some sort of relief to the farmers who've been significantly affected by this?
Yes. We are working towards providing some relief. The NADMO team brought some preliminary assessment of the situation. Then, by yesterday, some of the land, the farms, the water receded a bit, and then, so what we are monitoring the situation and collecting data on the farmland. When you are doing this thing, you need to, because it's government money or it's assembly, you need to get the right data so that you don't go to when you want to the beneficiary, then there will be problem again. So we are doing this together in the long term to do something to support the farmers. Yeah.
All right, Honorable Wisdom Siade, thank you so much for your time. Like I said, the teachers, you are being told teachers have abandoned their classrooms. I hope you work towards bringing them back, right?
Yeah, the teachers, when the issue happens, some are not used to the situation. So, yes, it happened. But as we speak, it's only left with some 2 teachers I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, by Monday, hopefully, everything will be returned to normal, and we hope that already the situation is that, to tell you the truth, is that the area is hard to reach place already. So teachers are mostly not ready to go to the area.
Yeah.
And generally, there is teacher shortage also we are dealing with. You see? So that one generally is the situation already before this one comes into aggravate the situation. But by the grace of God, we are seeing some kind of headway, and by next week we should be stabilizing.
Honorable Wisdom Siade, thank you so much for your time this morning, and taking us through what the challenges are. We'll go back to check, all the things you've told us today, right, with regards to the provision of canoes, bringing back students and teachers into the classroom, helping the farmers. We'll keep you to it. But thank you so much for your time. And of course, to the assembly member who joined us, Mr. Mensah, we're also grateful that you could come share some insights to this particular challenge. Hopefully, the assembly is more vociferous, really, in their demand for some level of accountability from duty bearers, right? And of course, to our correspondent, Desmond Selassie-Agor, for shining light on this rather, sad situation. Hopefully, we'll go back there to tell the story. If there are any improvements, we'll be glad to, let us know on the show. But that's all time will allow us for our community development segment, where we focused on the Lamime Lashiwome community in the Keta municipality, where a flooding situation has left many devastated, particularly school children and farmers. It's now time for our nutrition segment. We'll take a break. When we are back, Eno has an exciting conversation coming your way with our in-house, dietitian, registered dietitian, Enna Nomanyo. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great. Yes, I can. Oh, I'm so excited. They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is gonna be so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long. On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your life.
This Sunday on The Upside Down Show, sit with us as we get to understand dyslexia. Our guest, Rosalind Abigail Trednati, is a person living with the condition. She recounts the most embarrassing and unforgettable moments in her life and how she was misunderstood and chastised.
My cousins came over and they brought these storybooks, beautiful ones. One time they called me and said, "Can you read a page?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, give me the book." And I picked it. I stared at it like this. I stared and stared and stared. I can't identify.
What were you seeing?
I was just seeing the book, like the writings, but I can't identify the words.
Not forgetting some soothing tunes from Upland Unique.
Oh mon amour, ouais, j'aime bien tout ce qu'on fait, surtout sous les draps. Petit, c'est temporaire. Je prie bien que ça dure,
Stay tuned with Freme Dunyame and Nana Tufo Boating this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt, only on Channel 1 TV.
This is Sunday Breakfast right here on Channel 1 TV with me, Inu Safo. We're delving into our nutrition segment, and you know we've been talking about when to introduce infants and toddlers to certain foods, you know, what time is appropriate to give solids to your infant or your toddler. Today we're talking about when is it appropriate to introduce infants and toddlers to certain stuff like salt or sugar or honey. And joining me is our registered dietitian for Diswa Diet Consult and Medical Catering, Ifwa Diswa Nsiano Manyo, but we like to call her on the show Enna. Enna, how are you doing?
I'm very good.
Yeah. So we've been talking about, you know, the appropriate time to introduce foods to your toddlers, and we all agree that's 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. But can it be earlier? Because you know, sometimes when you're eating, they'll be looking at you. When you take it to your mouth, they'll be looking at you or trying to grab your food.
Yeah. 6 months is appropriate.
Is appropriate. Yes. Okay. Today we're talking about the addition of sugar, salt. I remember some weeks back you said when you're cooking their food, do it separate. So you put it aside before you add the salt for the family. That's if you have to, if you're not cooking theirs separately. So let's start with the honey. When is it appropriate to add honey to their foods?
So after 1 year, it's appropriate. Every study has shown that most studies have shown that introducing an infant to introducing this honey, no matter how healthy, no matter how pure, to an infant below 1 year is unhealthy. Okay, there is this bacterium in honey that the infant is not able to digest. That is Clostridium botulinum.
Okay.
And this bacterium is able to cause a condition called infant botulism. Infant botulism mimics other disease conditions. Okay. So, though very rare, it's very, very serious and deadly. And we are supposed to be cautious. Sometimes doctors will do all the assessments and even might overlook the introduction of honey or the addition of honey to an infant's food.
Okay.
So it is always advised that before 1 year, mothers should not give honey to a child. Some of the symptoms include the inability to suckle.
Okay.
When a baby is not sucking well, mothers might not know that it is even it is the addition of the honey to their food that is causing that. You might think about other conditions. You might even give some medications before you are able to consider honey. So therefore it is advised that when your baby is constipating, honey will make the child constipate. Sometimes it will even cause seizures.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the baby might feel weak muscles. So, of course, because of that weakness, it doesn't even have the energy to suckle. Okay. And then sometimes also they feel, they experience lethargy. Okay. So you are supposed to take it out. Other babies can digest it.
Okay.
Okay. That is why it is rare, but you don't expose your child to it. So every research, most have agreed on the fact that before 12 months, we are supposed to take honey out of baby. Even personally, I do 2 years.
Okay.
So that I know it is completely ruled out. I don't want any issue with this child is able to tolerate other. By the time baby is from 1 year going, the digestive system is able to remove that bacterium. Okay, so it doesn't affect the baby.
Okay.
So I will allow the baby to mature before you able to introduce honey. You might think that honey is very healthy, but it is introduced after 12 months.
How much are we giving the child? Like a tablespoon?
A half teaspoon.
Half teaspoon?
Yes. So even when you have to introduce it after 1 year, you are given half teaspoon because it is very dense.
Right.
Okay, it is very sweet. So imagine a few weeks ago, we agreed on quantities that a baby is supposed to take. So if a baby is taking a porridge of about 100 ml or 150 ml, a teaspoon of honey is too much for that. Okay, so half a teaspoon is appropriate to start with.
A teaspoon.
Yeah, yes. So when
That's
you're
too
doing
small now.
Yeah, it's enough for the baby system.
Okay. Okay.
Remember, we are also not doing a lot of sweets for baby.
Yes.
So we don't want to sweeten it too much. So you move to a teaspoon when baby is about 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
So half a teaspoon to start with.
Yes, half a teaspoon to start.
And what are
with.
we putting it in? Can we just put it in anything?
So they are porridges.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes when you want to give baby mashke or corn porridge or Niton brown, instead of adding table sugar, you might want to add honey.
Honey.
Yeah.
Honey is preferred over table
Yes, because it has more
So
nutrients.
should honey be introduced first before the sugar?
Yes, table sugar is supposed to be added after 2 years.
Hey. Because I'm thinking about the Milo that we were drinking. You know, people do Milo and they'll still add sugar.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to remember whether I've seen any mother put sugar in addition to the Milo to give to the child, but I can't remember.
Unfortunately, most mothers do. Some mothers even add sugar to
the cocoa,
the breast milk. Some will add to formula.
Why?
You see, when you have introduced a child too early to sweets,
oh Lord,
and child starts rejecting not so sweet milk or porridges. You are forced to. And that is so bad because babies are very smart. Toddlers are very smart. They can manipulate you. They know that when they reject this, you will bring the sugar one. That is why you are not supposed to start it too early. Okay? So when the taste bad, when the taste is developed, and later you want to give other family foods like soups and sauces, and they are not accepting, you would want to sweeten even their water so that you give them one rice with contemporary stew or mashed potatoes with something, and then you give
the
a
sweetened
sugar.
water. Oh gosh.
And you know this exposes them to a lot of preventable diseases. Okay, so most children are going to school with a lot of sweets, even at home.
Oh wow.
I had a patient, a 9-year-old patient with type 2 diabetes, and we were all surprised because normally that age is type 1.
Yeah.
But this was type 2.
Young.
And you did the assessment, diet history, and child is with grandmother. Grandmother is frustrated because the child is not eating, but the child will take meat pie with Coke.
With Coke.
So breakfast, Obama no meat pie with Coke, and school, the child will take that. So the lunch, and they will bring the food home, but they will take the drink.
Oh my word.
So
should we move to sugar now?
yes.
Okay.
So
when is it appropriate to introduce sugar?
After 2 years, even after 2 years, preferably, because if you can stay till 5 years, preferably, but if you want to introduce just a little, then for the whole day, 5 teaspoons is enough.
5 teaspoons
the
whole day. Okay, but that's not bad.
That's
a bit too much. Even for me, that's a bit too much.
Yes, you say it's too much. When you add 1 teaspoon to the porridge in the morning,
and
cinnamon, so
like
you
3 or
give
4. Okay.
Then you give a drink to school, and it is mostly the processed one.
Yeah.
Okay, that might have about 4 or 5 in it. So, child comes home, and most children before 5 years might want to take Milo before sleeping. So you would add another 1 or 2. Okay. So even when you are trying to be very moderate, you are giving the child about 7, 8. If you want to please the child, you might do more than 10, because some children after school would want to take another drink. They take their snack around 10. So after school, when food is not ready, they might want to take another drink, and before bed.
Right.
So the drinks alone is given about 12.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And so 5 teaspoons.
Teaspoons.
The whole day.
The whole day.
That's going to be tough.
That is appropriate.
That is going to be tough.
But when you haven't started early, child or baby can take the porridge without the sugar, because the formula itself is sweet already.
Okay.
Even if you are adding breast milk, but after 2 years, mother is not producing breast milk anymore. So you would want to add only the baby formula or other milk powders. Okay. So all the milk powder have some level of sugar. When you add it to the porridge, baby should be okay, unless you have introduced sugar earlier. So that the only sugar baby might take is the one in the processed drinks.
Okay.
Or even if you are doing pure 100% free juice.
I was about to ask about that. The natural juices in comparison to the, let me call it artificial sugars.
Yes.
I'm sure that it's not as much in natural. The sugar is not as much in natural juice.
It depends on the quantity of.
So how much, like if it's a natural juice drink, I've juiced maybe an orange myself, how much ml should I be giving my child?
200 ml.
200 ml for the whole day?
For a whole day.
Oh Lord.
So if the child is doing 2 snacks, then we have to share. Listen, if you are juicing even to get 200 ml, how many oranges are you going to juice? You might be getting to 4. And that is dense. That is too much sugar for the child because the child is supposed to take only 1 orange. Okay, so even continuous use of or introduction of pure juice, 100% pure juice, more than 200 for the whole day is too much for the child. Okay. So other studies will even recommend 100 for a child after 2. So though pure, we should still
reduce
stay,
it to the limit. Wow. Okay. Let's talk about salts now.
Okay. So
when is it appropriate to introduce salt?
Salt is also after 1 year.
Okay.
Even after 1 year, you are supposed to do very, very small. So you can do the porridges without salt, especially when you have started 6 months without salt. Baby is used to by 1 year, when you give the bottle, that is what they know. So that you add the salt, a little salt to the family foods they are eating. So if the family is taking the porridge, the family will of course fetch baby's own before. But when baby is eating the stews and sauces, sometimes because of the high content of salt in our fish already, baby has enough. There is no need to add salt to the food before given to the baby. Baby should be used to very low salt because the kidneys are still young. It becomes difficult when we are given sausages, even cereal bars and other biscuits that are very high in sodium already. So introducing processed foods, processed biscuits, no matter the form, to our children should be very minimal. Okay.
Would you say early exposure to salt, sugar, honey influences a child's preference when it comes to food choices?
Of course, because taste is acquired.
Yeah.
You know, for dietitians, you appreciate when a patient comes and you are taking diet history. Diet history gives you the opportunity to know the patient's preferences. They will always, no matter the age, say, "Yamfa we antiteme, say na me didi." Enti introducing something different becomes very difficult.
I can imagine.
I have a patient about 57. He's now learning how to eat vegetables, not to pick them from food.
What?
57.
Oh, wow.
He will pick onions.
But I hear that's one of the most difficult foods to introduce to toddlers and children, vegetables.
You see, but there is always a way. Raising a child needs so much time and sacrifice.
And patience, apparently.
And patience so much. So, when they are with you in the kitchen, they are too smart.
Yeah.
Even my own, sometimes I will let them know that if we are supposed to pick the vegetables by 1, you will have to let them know the science behind it. You will get this disease. They know of kwashiorkor, so they run away from kwashiorkor. They'll come and demand for protein because they have been taught in school. So you to teach them the benefits of the vegetables. Let them take this today and tomorrow I'll give you what you want. Gradually, cutting the vegetables for you. This is good for your eye. This is good for your skin. The girls among them.
Yeah.
Even the boys now, they know they want some
skincare.
Yeah, so when you introduce with them and they are doing fancy kebabs with the vegetables, so 1 vegetable, 1 chicken something, with time, they will like it. By the time the child is 2,
yeah,
there are now fancy cutters.
Yeah.
Okay, when you cut them and do stir fry with them, they like. I have had to demonstrate with some children who didn't like at all, but playfully. But we all don't have the time. But to help them for life, we have to make the time.
As a parent, how can you monitor, as children grow, as they become toddlers and, go to school, how can you monitor the intake of, these 3 foods in your child's food? Because sometimes they'll go and eat their friends' food.
Yes.
So how can you monitor?
So you tell their teachers, our children are going to school as early as 6 months, even 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so you let the teacher know that my child is not supposed to eat any child's food. Don't give her sugar. If the child is not eating, don't add sugar. Okay. Sometimes you have to even fake that there's a condition. So if you give the sugar, the child might have a condition that I cannot handle. Grandparents, you have to let them know.
They're the stubborn ones.
Yes. I remember my dad telling me, Ifi, inti umbe, omo ba me ma omo toffee, omo se dabi, omo se chocolate dabi. It's me back crowd. I said they just love the hacks.
Yeah.
They love the company. They like the fufu. They like the ampesi. It wasn't easy, but with time. And in my home we have a gift box for toffees, and I have taught a lot of my parents at work, and they give me positive feedback. If a friend is celebrating birthday, they will give you a piece of cake.
Yeah.
The cake, divide it into 3. Eat 1, share with some. But everybody has some. Okay, then bring the rest to me. But the toffee and the drink, we'll have a box. We will put them in, share them during Christmas. And it works. So they will always bring it in. Sometimes, okay, bring it, let's pray on it. After praying on it, we'll keep it. So because it has become a family custom, and madam, don't force the child to eat it. She'll bring it home. And they will always ensure. Your friends, when you want to show love to my child, don't bring toffee, don't bring this. I want to. With time, they will accept. Most of my sisters would tell me my children are skinny because I'm not giving this, I'm not giving that. Give them a little sugar and they will have the weight for you, but I'm skinny myself. Okay, so you don't want a situation where the child is having to go through a lot of stress in future to stop sugar and being exposed to present so many preventable diseases. Ones that is becoming so common these days in our secondary schools, even our basic schools, hormonal imbalances now becoming so common. You see a lot of girls now on contraception because they have to balance their hormones to be able to flow well.
Oh, Lord.
And you trace some of them, and it's too much sugar we are giving them.
Are there any benefits or health benefits to the babies with the introduction of this, or can we skip it entirely?
You can skip it.
I know that makes you happy. You can skip it.
You can skip it. You can get the traces of vitamins in the honey.
Okay.
From other nutrients. Yeah, they say honey is good for the brain.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Other fruits are there. Ideally.
So they're healthy alternatives.
Yes.
Okay.
Ideally, if you want to give at all, then stick to the quantity. Okay. Otherwise, they can get it from other food. For sugar, no nutritional value in sugar. And salt, of course. At some point, you need the salt so that when the child is used to low salt, when it is so high, they can reject it, and the kidneys are preserved. So the corned beef, the high processed foods, the sausages that now if you don't give them, they don't want to eat anything. A child raised with low sugar, low salt taste will reject it. And that child is rejecting sickness.
And of the three that are here right now, sugar, salt, honey, are there any allergic reactions that you know of?
Okay, so most children will be allergic to honey.
Honey, okay.
And apart from that, sugar, some of them, but it's very rare.
Okay.
And it's sometimes, you might not trace it to, but most of the children I have encountered, when you give them high sugary stuff, they constipate.
Oh, really?
So for me, I'll say, okay, but you do all the eliminations. You would want to eliminate and see, today did it work? The last thing you might even think of is sugar. But most children, of course, there's no fiber in there. And the same way the honey will make some toddlers constipate. Sugar, and especially the brown, the molasses, the syrup, oh God, a lot of sweetness out there.
Are there any nutritional values?
Forget them.
None at all.
It only gives you calories. Calories we are even running away from.
Right.
Okay, so the molasses, they are just to encourage the baby to eat.
Oh,
and
okay.
so because you are encouraged, you are trying to sweeten either beverage or porridge to encourage the baby to eat. Why don't you rather teach the baby to eat it without sugar? You say it's difficult, but it is doable. Best you can sweeten it with fruits.
Okay.
One banana in a porridge is so good. So they will chop it. My home, we chop it. And so when you see porridge, you're going to look for your banana, you chop it, and you are used to, if you add chopped banana and granite to oats, it's so nice.
Yeah, I have a friend who does that. So he has oats, then he'll add almonds, and then he'll add something, and it's butter. I'm like, what are you eating?
It is nutritious.
It's nutritious, and he's not considering the taste. It's for his, nutritional value. That's what he's concerned about.
And you see the benefits. You see, unfortunately, these preventable diseases are becoming so common in early years, okay? And because it's also so convenient, children are just eating it left and right. So if you don't deliberately stop them from eating it early, and you, for convenience sake, so you want to feed fast, because without the sugar, it might take a little longer. Tip the teacher. Tip whoever is feeding. Let them have the patience and feed your child for you.
Yeah. What are some of the common mistakes that parents do when they're introducing new foods to their kids?
Okay.
And how can they avoid them?
They only want food that the baby can take first, and food that will make the baby chubby.
Yeah.
Okay. And food that will let others know that they can afford. So instead of giving homemade food, they want to go for the bottled.
Yeah.
Even banana and yogurt, you want to go and buy banana yogurt, but it has to be preserved with sodium.
Oh.
Okay. So at 6 months, when you are introducing foods and you want to buy the one on the shelf to introduce, no matter how good it is, it has to be preserved with sodium. So don't go for the convenience. Mothers want to go for convenience, and the very convenient ones are high in sugar and high in salts. So the two that you are running away from before 1 year, and even sugar before 2 years, are available for you on the shelf. Okay.
And I thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've learned a lot. I'm sure next week or next time we'll do more foods.
We are ending with
We're
this.
ending with
Yes.
this. Oh, I wanted to know when we can introduce herbs and spices.
Oh, maybe we can do something else.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. This has been educated. If you can, avoid them. But if you can't, you know when to introduce honey now, sugar, and salt as well. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure having you. So yes, that's it. If you can, avoid it. But if you want to, you know when now that you can introduce it to them. It'll be on our YouTube channel, Channel 1 TV, if you want to watch it again and get those times and the times that you should introduce it appropriately. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
When the stars come out, Ghana Weekend turns up the lights. From the hottest red carpet moments to the wildest after parties. And for all your celebrations, anniversaries, and unforgettable moments, if it's happening, we're there. First, fast, and fabulously. Your front row pass to Ghana's A-list lifestyle is just a click or a channel away. GhanaWeekend.com and Ghana Weekend TV, where fame meets the fans. Promote your next big event with us, because when you party with the stars, the whole nation of black stars should know. Visit GhanaWeekend.com, watch and subscribe to Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube. Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle at GhanaWeekend.com. On X at Ghana Weekend, on TikTok, Ghana Weekend, and on Facebook at Ghana Weekend. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, all access, all glam, all yours.
The gentleman who is joining me today, I like to describe him as a true black star. He's a Master Sergeant of the U.S. Army, currently stationed in Korea, Mr. Samuel Amateama. Master Sergeant Samuel Amateama. Hello, let me give you the respect, soldier.
Wow, thank you. I like that.
So that's like half a tin.
No, let's add it in here some more. We're trying to make it rich, because I know you're classy. You got to be rich. So based on that, we're going to add. Now I'm going to add something called the apple. Where's my apple juice right here?
Apple juice is here.
Why do I add the apple juice? Just to give you that apple flavor. I'm going to give you $100 bill.
Okay.
Hold on to that.
Okay.
This is going to happen. Anybody in the comments on social media, do you think it's going to be good with hair, with the blue hair or the red hair? Those who want blue hair, just type in blue in the comments. Those who want the red hair, type in red in the comments. We're going to see who the winner is, and then you're going to choose one person yourself to come for the $100 bill. So we have the oil, just in case the butter doesn't work out, we use the oil, okay?
Okay.
Is it hot now?
Yeah, it's hot.
Okay. So I'm going to put a bit of the butter in there. Oh, good.
Okay.
Perfect. Could we swivel it around a little bit, not too much? In there, and it becomes more,
it works.
Easily accessible to all. Get some jollof.
No, I trust you, and we'll use tasty. Oh my goodness! Just when I thought you weren't going to come today.
Why wouldn't you want me to come?
Because you come and eat all my food. This is one of my favorite things, and then you're coming to eat it.
What's Cooking is brought to you by Tasty Tom, Kivo Pepper, and Lily Rice.
This Sunday on The Upside Down Show, sit with us as we get to understand dyslexia. Our guest, Rosalind Abigail Trednati, is a person living with the condition. She recounts the most embarrassing and unforgettable moments in her life and how she was misunderstood and chastised.
My cousins came over and they brought these storybooks, beautiful ones. One time they called me and said, "Can you read a page?" And I was like, yeah, sure, give me the book.
Yeah.
And I picked it. I stared at it like this. I stared and stared and stared. I can't identify.
What were you seeing?
Yeah, what
I
was
was
happening?
just seeing the book, like the writings, but I can't identify the words.
Not forgetting some soothing tunes from Upland Unique.
Oh mon amour, ouais, j'aime bien tout ce qu'on fait, surtout sous les draps. Petit, c'est temporaire. Je préviens que ça dure, ouais. Petit.
Stay tuned with Freme Dunyame and Nana Tufo Boating this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt, only on Channel 1 TV.
Welcome back. This is Sunday Breakfast right here on Channel 1 TV with myself, Jude Duncan. Just gone by Eno with Ifwa Nomanyo, who is our regular dietitian on the show, on a conversation, actually a series on nutritious food for your babies. This time around, they focused on the sugar, the quantity required, the variants in there, whether you could use, the final ones or honey and the likes. Very important conversation. If you know a mother, if you know a newly born, if you know a nursing mother, it's important that you share with them. It will be up on our YouTube channel. You can go there and rewatch for yourself. That really exciting and insightful conversation. But it's now time for sports. And my colleague Bernard Abeku, who coincidentally, we share a birthday together, right? So it makes you my brother,
100%
from a different mother.
100%.
So you be major guy.
You fancy things where you for bring them up. So.
No, it go come. No, my grandfather start, but he passed away.
Yeah, but I know be still there.
Where mother tank take over, but it will come.
Of course, I believe.
Bernard, always a pleasure having you.
You're a solid guy. What's good?
We'll probably start off from the beautiful game.
Yeah.
I think it's the most exciting sport in the world. I may be wrong, but that's a personal choice and a personal opinion. The Club World Cup is still ongoing.
Yeah.
What's been your impression about the tournament so far?
I think the South American teams have been solid. The Palmeiras, Flamingos have shown what they can do given the opportunity. I think the determining factor or the strength behind this whole tournament is the money that's involved that these clubs get. Even before you kick a ball, you are assured about $9.4 million. It's cool. And I'm of the view that, they are ready to pull up or to come to the party, meeting the likes of the Real Madrids, the Manchester Cities, the Chelseas. Some of the players, they just watch these guys on TV, even though they're also professional players. They've not gotten the opportunity to be playing against the Lionel Messi, I didn't even mention him. So people see him and they go like, this Lionel Messi I've been watching for a span on TV. And that's what this tournament tries to bridge. The negative, I know maybe we might get there, is maybe the front and attending these games. It has been super poor. A bit of weather, coaches have complained as well, and little minute delays here and there. But I feel when you want to even talk about favorites at this stage of competition, round of 16, it has been Real Madrid, it has been Manchester City, and one other team. I'm not scared to mention Chelsea. Chelsea's in that picture as well. PSG in that picture as well, because of their dominance in the group stage of this particular competition.
Any team from South America?
South America, well, I might be forced to, between Flamingo and, what's the name? Between Flamingo and Palmeiras, right? I struggle to choose the best from the two because I feel they're of equal strength, you ask me. You know, in that fold of football, they seem to play in a certain way. You know, a lot of passes trying to keep the real chemistry of the game, as in trying to stabilize the game before you transition on the attack. So I feel those two, you ask me.
Interesting. Yesterday, Chelsea won quite impressively.
That's against Benfica.
You know,
and if you think Chelsea are
so
having...
an all-European tie, you know, Benfica come into this game with some kind of pedigree. You know, having done very well in Europe over the years. Were you impressed by the Chelsea win, considering that they lost a group stage game and came back to win 1-0 against ES Tunis, right? Before, you know,
the African guys.
The round of 16.
I'm impressed with what Chelsea's doing. I'm impressed. The manager knows then the second season is pressure season. And Chelsea are not going to settle for, what's the name of that trophy? The Conference League. No, Chelsea's not going to settle. Chelsea,
Chelsea's standard is beyond
Chelsea's standard is beyond Conference League. We must put it out there. They are that club that started winning trophies, not if I say not long ago, people might be against me, but I mean, I'm talking about the Jose Mourinho era, breaking a 50-year jinx, winning them a Premier League trophy, and you know the presence of the former owner trying to establish them to be a club that's worthy of trophies, and they repeated that scene for a moment. So Chelsea is among the greats when you talk about clubs here in our fold. And look, this is the time Chelsea is going to gel better. This is the season Chelsea is going to play some good. If you're thinking Chelsea have played good football, I beg to differ. They're going to, you know, you watch the opponents they were playing even from the onset of this tourney, the FIFA Club World Cup. You might think that they are not strong or worthy opponent enough. So, it's Chelsea, and if they are winning, that's normal. No, that's against Benfica. You don't throw that away. You know, they played something solid. I mean, I can see movement, and I think they are strategically signing players that fits the coach's style of system of play. It's huge to say because a player like Jimmy Vardy have shown consistency and class in the league. But I talk about the fact that this manager found himself, you know, in the midst of experienced and young guys in his former club and did it, you know, with them, you know, getting them into Premier League football. He gets Chelsea, he gets a means of a little experience with a lot of youthful exuberance. And I have a feel that he's going to play that football to the highest level. And that's next season. And a tournament like this offers that platform. It's not, you know, go on a season break, players go enjoy, and then they come in pre-season and you have to start again. It gives them this ample time. So they'll have a mini break sort of, then they go into pre-season again. And it will be like, oh, okay, you know, training 3 days in a week, having some 2 days or what have you rest, and then getting back. So it tries to build a psyche of the team and put them in that right field. I feel Chelsea is also one of the teams to watch out for this expanded FIFA Club World Cup.
Interesting. Moving on from the Club World Cup, right, we've seen quite an interesting list of transfers, you know, happening around. Some big name confirmations already. Our very own Thomas Partey, he's been discussed a lot, you know, in international media. So has Kamaldeen Sulemana. I'm not sure where you want to start it from, but what has been your most eye-popping, you know, transfer, you know, story as it stands?
I know we're Ghanaians, we have Ghanaian interest, and that's what we want to talk about. But look, yesterday when I saw that Paul Pogba transfer to Monaco, it's a free transfer because the lad himself have gone under a lot of criticism. The whole world was against Paul Pogba, including his family, and that makes it what's super painful. Because people you thought you grew up with the same, you know, from the same house, people you think that you've seen most at times in your entire life, you know, not support you is crazy. So first off, I want to say that we're going to see Pogba back again.
Back.
Yeah. Pogba. So the Pogba, he's back in the game. So Pogba, and he's going to play something solid for Monaco. Look, the guy behind us have done a lot of things for us now that I feel he's been disrespected the most.
Thomas Partey.
If it's English, he wouldn't be disrespected in this fashion.
Is he the most? Is he Arsenal's best player?
As it stands, if you take Saka off and for the injury, Thomas is the best guy for Arsenal. Not the defensive pair of even Gabriel Magalhaes and if you want White or Timber or whatever have you. Look, this guy has lived up to the billing. Anytime Arsenal have needed him the most in bigger games, he shows his dominance. He's there. It's about a little bit of dinking the ball to some guy who's running down in that space, or looking wide when the game is super tight in a certain corner, and then swinging in a long pass to spread play, and also helping in offensive duties, occasionally shooting at goal as well. Arsenal have gotten Zubimendi. Arsenal have gotten Norgard, right? The latest discussion is Norgard and how best he's going to replace Thomas Partey. Zubimendi, Norgard, who's there again?
They also have Merino, who sometimes is a false nine.
Look, all these guys, if you do a pecking order, Partey is put together. Partey is super high. And it's not because I'm a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
The stats are there. For Norgard, for example, he's 31. Partey is getting into his 34th year, getting into the World Cup. He's 33 now.
I think 32.
32, getting to his 33rd year, I should say. You look at him, yeah, and you can see that from the position he plays, there's a lot more in him he wants to give.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more in him that the world is yet to see. He's respected Arsenal. His contract, today is 28. His contract is over. And he's still not, even as a player, started talking to any other club. But there are clubs who are interested in this young gentleman. The Premier League relies on experience and the youthful thinking. He's got youthful thinking. He's gotten the ability on the ball as well, and played for a moment. He played, if you combine his Atletico Madrid start to what he has at Arsenal, he's played his best football at Arsenal. And the world have seen it. I'm not surprised Barca want him. And Barcelona are doing some good trick. And if he gets to play Barcelona, I don't think the rivalry between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona is that intense that, it sort of strikes, I think it's even going to much more build the momentum in the supporters base to make it super, super attractive. He's a chap that Arsenal, I feel, it gets me emotional.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And very briefly on Kamaldeen as well.
I think he's been terrific, over the season. He's a lad that is spoken of, not much like Thomas, in the scene, because Thomas has done it in a certain fashion. I feel he should stay and play a little bit of football for consistency before we allow him the opportunity to move.
Interesting. Today, PSG will be facing Messi's Inter Miami. Right?
Yeah, in the FIFA Club World Cup.
In the FIFA Club World Cup. Very brief predictions before we go.
Predictions. I think Messi's going to come to the party because it's PSG. And I have a feel Inter Miami are going to win by 2-1.
Interesting. Bernard Aweku, it's always a pleasure having you in the studio, bringing insights into the conversation, taking us to the transfer. We'll be here. I think we'll have a transfer deadline show, right?
Yeah.
It's very important. Thank you so much for your time. Amazing. But before I go, it's important I do some few wishes. This one coming in says, happy birthday to you, Amina, the CEO of Kick O'Clock Bakery here in Accra and Tamale. God bless you for being such an inspiration to the youth, and may God bless you and increase your success. This coming from Christian Achu Chikata, right? Christian says, God bless you for being such an inspiration. And also, let me use this opportunity to wish the Pobby family, strength and grace within the period. Yesterday, you buried your loved one, you buried your dad. It was an emotional ceremony, but also, a very inspiring one, focusing back on the legacy of your dad. Sincere condolences to the family, especially my very good friend, Sydney Pobby, and of course to Samuel Pobby. And to the boys for showing up, offering support, Raheem, Joey, Brian Addison, Ivy, Warren, Nisai, all of you, God bless you for that incredible show of support. And of course, in-house, we have a birthday. Trudy, today's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. God bless you so much. We pray for long life and more money so that you can share with us. Thank you so much, and God bless you. That's all time will allow us for today's edition of your favorite Sunday morning TV show, Sunday Breakfast, right here on Channel 1 TV. Of course, Eno Safo was here with me as well this morning, right from the news review segment up until the sports segment. We are so grateful for your time. Catch you same time next week with Breakfast Daily Weekend on Saturday and Sunday Breakfast on Sunday. Bye-bye.
Sunday on the Upside Down Show, sit with us as we get to understand dyslexia. Our guest, Rosalind Abigail Trednati, is a person living with the condition. She recounts the most embarrassing and unforgettable moments in her life and how she was misunderstood and chastised.
My cousins came over and they brought these storybooks, beautiful ones. One time they called me and said, "Can you read a page?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, give me the book." And I picked it. I stared at it like this. I stared and stared and stared. I can't identify.
What were you seeing?
I was just seeing the book, like the writings, but I can't identify the words.
Not forgetting some soothing tunes from Ablon Unique.
Oh, mon amour, ouais, j'aime bien tout ce qu'on fait, surtout sous les draps. Petit, c'est temporaire. Je prie bien que ça dure.
Stay tuned with Freme Dunyame and Nana Tufo Boating this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt, only on Channel 1 TV.
Welcome to Adoration with me, Edna Bright Davis. Your moment of divine encounter right here on Channel 1 TV. It's a time to join us to lift up your hearts and hands in adoration to the King of Kings, blessing him for his goodness, his mercy towards us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll tell you who our very special guest is for today. Welcome back from the break. This is Adoration with me, Edna Bright Davis, right here on Channel 1 TV. Today's episode is a spirit-filled one with one man of God I'm so excited to introduce to you. This is Reverend Pajo Markwe. Reverend PJ.
Reverend PJ Markwe.
You're most welcome to Adoration.
Thank you very much.
I mean, between you and I, we know we've been trying to do this for a while. And I'm just excited to introduce you to our audience all over the world. And we can't wait to have you minister to us. He's here with the team. They're ready. And just stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. You're going to be blessed. Let's enter into worship.
Thank you. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Minimike ache oyi botai ayehowale. Many mike aje oyi botai a Yehowalen ngo o mumo lehe walen o hanyongo kejewen ejakemi nyenge mashe boni sao nyamso mole toi akbe amo ikeshi da o ejakemi nyenge mashe boni sao nyamso mole toi akbe amo ikeshi da o ejakemi nyenge mashe boni sao nyamso mole toi akbe amo ikeshi da o ekemi ni negulu lokeboyo my right hand of righteousness I'll always be with you. Ooh. Keboyo. Keboyo. Oh, shimini negulu keboyo. Kashege shimi keboyo. Kakwe, oh, hey, oh, shimi inchi onyongole. Awatebo nima ye mabwa abo mawatebo shimi nine wulu keboyo. Oh, shimi nine kaka no watembo mlinle. Me fe ate mi no. Bini mi blow mi chole. Amate se hu. Kaye to Jimmy Nani. Can you must momile? Can me henye loy asambo. Afe ene. Oh, lift up your voice. Come on now. Oh. No time for me. Jimmy Nano, Jimmy Nano, come on. We lift our hearts and voices. Oh, the breath and now we lift our hearts and voices. We bless our teeth, and cry aloud and give to God the praise of our. We lift our hearts and voices. We lift our hearts and voices. We bless our teeth, and cry. Oh, and give to God the praise of our and cry aloud. The praise of our salvation. Yana pisati, yabi tu erajeni, yeninza waye. Oh, yeah, bisaki, yeah, be to eradin, yeah, it's a oh, yeah, it's a one more time. Why, yeah, yeah. 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 Why, yeah. Yeah, name say, why, yeah. Why, yeah, yeah. Oh, why, yeah, yeah. Why, yeah, yeah. Why, yeah, yeah. Our God is a good God. Nibuwa wo heta keta oh shishi jela gemole ye ni emoneno kenyoma yo ni emoneno ye womli leji Kristo wagoba leji minoma yoma kometo leji moni hawa ni ya wo fe kachi wo hele wo ye Cristo yomo naiwo malalala mabolo she bombo she bombo she bombo she bombo she yo manche yelimi me bake asile le chomo ni lebo ye wo e shalfe wo oh yesu bele keshitewo nene mihuma joyeko nene mihuma omiliziano malala maboloshe leji minumbo yomba kometo leji boni hawa niye hawa fe kaji wo hele wo ye ni won yesu omomli Cristo yomo naiwo malalala maboloshe Somo sonyo yisumi Somo ni benage Namo kranke le batohe Namo kasa yijemo febe Nimboshe Come on, lift your voice and praise him, and praise him. Aye, he said no, I said no. Aye, 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 aye. Oh, say yeah, aye, oh, aye. Oh, say, no say yeah. Didn't see a thing in oh say yeah man mo yesu ready kuni mama yeah no say yeah no say yeah. Didn't see a thing in oh say yeah man mo yesu ready kuni mama mumbra aye salo na se salo aye ose aye he deserves it all. Come on now. Oh, say, oh, say, yeah. Oh, say, yeah. I'm for no ribo. I'm in a bottle, say, I'm for him oribo. I'm in a bottle, say, I'm for him oribo. I'm in a bottle, say, oribo. Oh, the king is coming in his glory. Lift up your voice and bless the name of the Lord. He's coming in his royalty, in his majesty. Oh, say yeah,
about Reverend PJ Markwei. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. We'll be right back. More about Reverend PJ Markwei. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Now, that was a spirit-filled and mind-blowing time of worship. I don't know what else to call it. So maybe you've never heard Reverend PJ, but I am just sitting before a legend.
Thank you.
And just to say, every song he did, you've probably heard some before, and some are new songs. He wrote all these songs himself. We just want to hear from him. Who is Reverend PJ Markwei?
Okay, Reverend PJ Markwei is an ordained minister of the Lord. I've been in the field for like 40 years, if a little more. And I am with Living Streams Ministries International. I've been a pastor for music for a long time. And I'm married to a beautiful lady, Rabbi Isi Jane, Bridget.
Yeah.
And we have 3 children, Marvel, Ian, and Niza. That is for short, Reverend PJ.
Well, tell us, I mean, you've been doing this for 40 years. So if I ask the next question, I mean, I don't know how you're going to compress it, but tell us about your musical journey.
My musical journey, I would say, started, I come from a music, background, family. My dad sings. My dad was a choir master at the time. My mom was a lead singer. I think that's how they met, And that's how I met my wife, too. She was backing me, so I just followed my dad's, footsteps. So you catch them whilst they are there. So
I think it's a thing. It's a thing. So I don't know if you sing and you're not singing, just go and sing because I met my husband in the choir too.
You know, it just goes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The spirit is one.
Yep.
Okay, so so I grew up at the age of I think 3. I started singing because, you know, my dad would bring people to the house. They would be rehearsing, and they'll be singing. And when they finish and they go, I'll just, you know, be singing all over the house. So I started singing. I picked up with my brother, who were singing at parties. Sometimes my sisters would join, and on. Calvary Road days, I was there.
Yeah.
I was singing. I was acting, and then I went to the university, KNUST, UST. Now they say KNUST. Well, let's take it like that, you know. So I was there. I was also the leader of the choir, sang, and then I, you know, left university. Living Streams was formed. I joined Living Streams. That's my brother's church.
Yes.
And then I became the pastor of the choir, and I've been there ever since.
I mean, faithful.
Yeah.
Just there.
Just there for
Doing
like
it.
33 or 34 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you've written all these great songs. We still sing in church today. Where do you draw your inspiration from?
I draw my inspiration from the Holy Ghost. I draw my inspiration from the Word of God. And let me say, especially my wife and family. That's where I get my inspiration from. Once I get that support, everything goes for me. Yeah.
You're off. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, so today there's a young worship leader wanting to do what you've done. I mean, they don't know how you get your songs. I mean, songs that we're singing like, 30 years on, and they're still relevant today. What would you say to a young musician who just wants to occupy the same, do the same thing you're doing?
I would say don't be in a hurry to be seen. I mean, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Okay? So, because of social media, a lot of people, you know, they put something together and they want to be seen. But take your time. Stay in the presence of the Lord. Make sure you are fully baked and you are really cooked. When you come out, I mean, everybody will taste you to be very good. Otherwise, you give out something that is of the letter that killeth, and then something very shallow, and you think that, you know, you are doing something very good, especially with those young ones. Once they can do the riffs, you know, flip song, pitch and things, they think that is the anointing. No, don't be deceived. That is not the anointing. Okay, when you see the anointing, you see it very fresh, very raw. It transforms life. It breaks yokes. It takes you to another level.
It's not goose pimples, really, is it?
I'm telling you, it's not just goose pimples. You feel it, and then they start screaming. No. Take your time. Be in the presence of the Lord, and when you come out, your life will be different, and people who hear you will be different.
Reverend PJ, thank you so much. He said it. He said, just stay. Make sure you're baked. Now, this baking is not like a slow roast. It's not 45 minutes. It's not an hour, 30 minutes. Just make sure you're baked. I mean, God's baking time is God's baking time.
It's God's baking time.
It's a month, 2 months, 3, 6, 1 year. But make sure you're baked.
Fully baked.
Thank you so very much. We can't wait to have you back here. But thank you. I mean, you and the team have just been such a blessing to us today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for staying with us. This has been Adoration with me, Edinam Bright Davis. We'll be back here same time next week with another amazing episode. Don't miss it for anything. But all I say to you is remember to keep your awe of God and don't lose your song. God bless you. Welcome to Adoration with me, Edinam Bright Davis. Your moment of divine encounter right here on Channel 1 TV. It's a time to join us to lift up your hearts and hands in adoration to the King of Kings. blessing him for his goodness, his mercy towards us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll tell you who our very special guest is for today. Welcome back from the break. This is Adoration with me, Edenam Bright Davis, right here on Channel 1 TV. Today's episode is a spirit-filled one with one man of God I'm so excited to introduce to you. This is Reverend Pajo Markwe. Reverend PJ.
Reverend PJ Markwe.
You're most welcome to Adoration.
Thank you very much.
I mean, between you and I, we know we've been trying to do this for a while. And I'm just excited to introduce you to our audience all over the world. And we can't wait to have you minister to us. He's here with the team. They're ready. And just stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. You're going to be blessed. Let's enter into worship.
Thank you. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Minimike ache oyi otai ayehowale Many mike ache oyi otai ayehowale ngo omo lehe walen o hanyolo kejewen ejakemi nyehe mashe boni sao nyamso mole toy agbe abo ikeshi da My right hand of righteousness shall always be with you.
Binimi blow me chole, amate se who Kayeto Jimina, can you must momile? Can me henye loy asako afe in it. Oh, lift up your voice, come on up. Oh, no time. Jimmy Nanyo, Jimmy Nanyo, come on. We lift our hearts and voices. Oh, the blood and we lift our hearts and voices with pleasant pain and cry aloud and give to God the praise of our. We lift our hearts and voices. We lift our hearts and voices with pleasant pain and cry. Oh, and keep to God the praise of our and cry aloud. The praise of our salvation. Yana pisati, yabi tu erajenim, yeninza, waye, waye, waye. Oh, yana pisati, yabi tu erajenim, yeninza. Oh, yeah, it's why yeah. Oh, why yeah. Why yeah. Why yeah. Our God is a good God.
bono say Yebe bono say Nidimu na inkwawo Aba na inkwawo. Come on, lift your voice and praise him. And praise him. Aye, he said no. I said no. Aye, aye. Aye, aye. Oh, say yeah, aye. Oh, aye. Nobody, nobody, oh, say yeah. Yebe bon no say yeah. Didn't see a thing na. Oh, say yeah, yeah, mama mo. Yesu, ready kuni mama yeah. Yebe bon no say yeah. Yebe bon no say yeah. Didn't see a thing na. Oh, say yeah, yeah, mama mo. Yesu, ready kuni mama. Mumbra, 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 mumbra. Hey, aye yo, aye yo, sano, nasi, sano. Aye, 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 aye. Ose, ose. Aye, 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 aye. Aye, aye. He deserves it all. Come on now. Oh, say, aye, 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 aye. Oh, say, yeah, ah. Oh, say, yeah, ah. I'm for him, no, Rebo. Amen, you know, but oh, say, ah. I'm for him, no, Rebo. Amen, you know, but oh, say, ah. I'm for him, no, Rebo. Amen, you know, but oh, say, ah, Rebo, Rebo. Oh, the King is coming in his glory. Lift up your voice and bless the name of the Lord. He is coming in his royalty, in his majesty. Ah, Abba, oh, oh, say yeah, amen. Ah, Oribo, Oriba. Ah, Oribo, Oriba. Oribo, Oriba, Oriba, Oribo, Oriba, Oriba. Oh, say yeah, amen, in a bono say. Woo! Wow.
He deserves all the praise. Let every nation, let every tribe, let every tongue just lift up a praise unto the King of Kings. Now, if you stayed through that, I'm sure there's some fire in your house, in your car, wherever you're watching us. We're going to go for a quick break. And when we come back, we want to find out a little bit more about Reverend P.J. Makwe. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. We'll be right back. That was a spirit-filled and mind-blowing time of worship. I don't know what else to call it. So maybe you've never heard Reverend PJ, but I'm just sitting before a legend.
Thank you.
And just to say, every song he did, you've probably heard some before, and some are new songs. He wrote all these songs himself. We just want to hear from him. Who is Reverend P.J. Makwe?
Okay, Reverend PJ Markway is an ordained minister of the Lord. I've been in the field for like 40 years, if a little more. And I am with Living Streams Ministries International. I've been a pastor for music for a long time. And I'm married to a beautiful lady, Rabbi Isi Jane, Bridget.
Yeah.
And we have 3 children, Marvel, Ian, and Niza. That is for short, Reverend PJ.
Well, tell us. I mean, you've been doing this for 40 years. So if I ask the next question, I mean, I don't know how you're going to compress it, but tell us about your musical journey.